I don't pay
just
attention
have.
to the comments in here. I read them directly. So if
I
you are
got
paying
them.
attention to them on here, that's great. It
I
makes my
am.
lighting look like really weird, so I don't like having it full screen. I have to have it full
Mm, mm,
screen.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
God, I
Mm.
feel like a
Yeah.
loser. Oh my god.
No, no, I love you.
I love you too. I
Hello,
love you.
everybody. I love everybody. I'm so glad. I miss everybody. I have been freaking fiending for a live with everybody. So I'm excited.
And we want to say first and foremost, even though not enough people are here yet, maybe I'll wait a moment. Um, Hello,
Uh-huh.
Chubby Cabra. We knew we could count on you.
Oh, sorry.
I've got a few anonymous messages. Although, since it's through anonymous messages,
Hello,
I'm not
hello.
gonna. There's a few people I assume they are, but I'm not gonna say.
We
I'm not
also
gonna
have
name
our
people
slasher
out.
chat AMAs, which you guys will prioritize those questions. So we do have one from Chupacabra, one of our heads of lettuce.
We'll do that first. Hi, Cindy Prescott. Hi, Cindy
Hi,
Prescott. I
hi,
have to
hi.
ask you a question. Are you knitting sideways? Knit me sideways. Is that you on Instagram? Oh, yeah, Wolfgang's going through a thing. I have some good news that's unrelated to this, anything at all. So a
Me?
year ago, Wolfgang, my oldest dog, he has radiographs as part of like just his monthly checkup because he's, I hate to say it, I don't hate saying this, a senior dog. My
Aww.
baby, he's still my baby, my big handsome baby. And they found a lump and they couldn't tell. My
Mm,
doctor couldn't tell if it was in the lungs, but it was around that area. And then we had to take him to a specialized doctor, and they did ultrasounds to make sure whatever it was hadn't spread. But it's not in the lungs, which is really good because they're like my vet said like, oh, if we had to remove one of his lungs, he could live for a whole another year. And I'm like, I'm gonna die right now. I'm fuck.
aww.
But hey, the good news is, long story short, it's been a year since all of that's happened. It's not in his lung, and he just had his checkup, and it has not grown, and he has shown
Nice.
no symptoms of being sick. My big handsome boy is gonna be okay. So
So my computer decided it's going to ask for software updates right now. So trying to authenticate user.
oh, that was your
Okay.
old username. Okay.
So my dog's at the age where she's getting a little lumpy also. Um they get lumpy sometimes. That's what dogs do. They get a
Well,
little
I
lumpy.
wouldn't. Well, it was a surprise because Wolfgang has no symptoms or outward
Mm.
anything, which they just told us in
She's
the
got like
radiograph.
weird lumps. I don't
That's
know.
normal. Actually, weirdly,
Yeah.
actually normal for dogs, but
Yeah.
you never know,
You don't. Yeah. So our first question is from El Chupacabra, one of our heads of
Wait,
lettuce.
one
He
thing I
said,
want to say,
oh,
important. Crystal couldn't make it tonight, and she said that she wants our heads of lettuce to know that she misses you, and she misses us, of course, because and that
because
she'll
we're
be back
besties.
as soon as she can. And she's fine. She's safe. She's fine. She's just got a lot going on. New stuff,
Uh-huh.
good
Uh-uh.
stuff. That's Everything's good. But she misses you.
All good. Yeah, we miss Crystal too.
Yeah, oh my
So
god. There's
I
actually a
do. I
question
miss her.
specifically for her in my questions.
Okay. We'll have to ask her offline and
I
get a
will read
response
it and offline.
in
I think it's a question
Discord.
in the
So join our Discord.
Discord.
If you're not in our Discord already, make sure you join our Discord and we'll get you guys the answers there for Crystal. So Chupacabra, Chubby Cabra, El Chubby Cabra, one of our heads of lettuce, had asked, what was your introduction to the genre first? My introduction to the genre, man, like the first scary movie I watched or the first,
The
I
first thing
would
that kind of
say
got you into horror, I'd say, probably, that led you there.
Halloween. Halloween led me down this path.
Really? Mike,
Yeah.
as we both agreed, boring Michael Myers, but it's a good movie though.
No, not the movie, like the holiday. Halloween.
Oh,
Halloween got me into
boom.
spooky stuff, and then, like, I really enjoyed spooky stuff, and then, of course, getting into horror films, I'd say Child's Play. Child's Play was, like, the first scary movie to really scare me and, like, me, like, go, like, "Whoa, this was a really terrifying and exhilarating experience." So then I, like, really loved horror and chased to that, like, getting scared high after that. But I would say, like, a lot of kids shows I watched too. Beetlejuice was a show
Oh,
I loved.
did you watch the animated one with
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
Tuppence
talking about,
spider? Oh
totally.
my god!
Yes.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I
so
love it
I loved
so
that
much.
show. I loved
Oh,
All Real Monsters. I
oh, me
loved
too.
Gargoyles, stuff like that. I watched a lot of that, and then I watched a lot of television, like
Morgana.
X-Files.
Remember Morgana? I had a crush on Morgana and Gargoyles.
Yes. So I had a crush on, like, a lot of the gargoyles, actually. They're just really buff.
They are.
So I feel like I got exposed to spooky stuff, like, all over the place, and I clung to it, and the same thing is happening with my daughter. She really loved Nightmare Before Christmas, as a baby, like, it became one of her favorites, and it still is. And then she really liked Scream. She's, like, clung to Ghostface. That's, like, her favorite thing, and she just got to watch Scream 6 finally because it's on Paramount, and, like, I bought it on Amazon too. So she
Ooh,
was really excited to see that. So she's really into, like, the Halloween stuff and spooky stuff, probably because I am, and so she got exposed to it pretty early on. Yeah. My mom's really into Halloween, so she used to do some really
great
cool, like,
holiday.
vintage Halloween like, decorations. Remember, like, the ones that had, like, the hinges, but they were flat paper? You'd hang on they had, like, skeleton hands, or they had, like, the witches with the, like, hingy arms. Do you know what
So
I'm
the
talking about?
first I do know what you're talking about, I do, and one of the first costumes that I had to have it, like, I had to have it, and I was
Yeah.
so into it and so excited, is they don't do it anymore, but remember when you'd be a cartoon character and they have a picture like, you'd have a shirt on and then a picture of the cartoon character on a shirt? Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
Yeah.
And I had to be, I don't know why this, I'm like, I have to be Buster Bunny from Tiny Toon Adventures. Like, I have to be him. And like if my mom like would show any, not that I didn't show tantrums much. I was a pretty
Mhm.
much the same as I am now as I was a child. Um, but so we bought it from like the local general store, and then I wore it as
Yeah.
pajamas forever, and I loved it. And I had the ears, and I was Buster Bunny. And even
So
though now as an adult, I think Babs Bunny is funnier.
yeah.
But
My mom, she's pretty epic with costumes. She would make them a lot of times, and she made me, like, this one costume where I was a princess, but I was also the horse. So, like, she
oh,
made
that's
me
so
this
cute!
big
I
horse
love it.
that went around me, and then, like, fake princess legs on the side, and then my 2 legs were like horse legs, and
Oh, that's so
for the
cute. I
horse,
love
and it was
that.
super cute. And then
Were you a
she
specific Disney princess or just general
no,
princess?
just a princess, just like it was a pink princess with, like, a cone for, like, the princess thing with the, like, floofy
Mhm.
little
Mm.
thing going on. And then it had, like, golden yarn hair, I think, too. Like, oh, yeah, it was legit. And my
That's
my mom
legit
was
cute.
really good at stuff like that, and so we would keep our costumes in a trunk, and that would become, like, a dress-up trunk for, like, the rest of the year. So, like, all of her
Oh,
previous costumes were in there. So, like, she was a cat
I
before,
love
and
that.
so,
That's
like, cat
so
ears were in
cute.
there and a cat tail and, like, a cat nose with whiskers, and, like, it would just get bigger and bigger, the amount of stuff that we would have in that trunk. And the same thing I do for my daughter. All of her Halloween costumes, they tend to fit her for a while at this age. So, and if they don't fit her anymore, some of the accessories still work. So I'll just buy, like, bigger little base stuff for her as she gets older, but it's all, like, usually really elastic and stuff, and she just has a trunk full of previous costumes and then, like, other dress up stuff that I just keep adding to, and I'll put my stuff in there. Like, I had Krampus horns I put in there for her
Oh,
that
that's
she
so cute.
loved. She loved them so much she broke them because she used them too much. So, yeah, like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, I think is a great gateway to like enjoying spooky is you start to like the way that you live it. So like when she was younger, I got this Halloween decoration. It was zombie heads that would go like, oh, it would like make zombie noises when you push the button. And their eyes would like do this glowing red thing.
Were they like shrunken heads or just zombie
Yeah,
heads that were small?
they look like zombie heads. And there was 3 of them and they're attached by a wire and they all like you could just set them up however you wanted. And I put them in I was going to put them in my rock. There's like this rock collection of river rocks next to my entryway on the way into my house, like the pathway. And I was just going to like take out a rock and put a zombie head there and like have zombie heads in the rockway. And like, so when people walk by, they'd be like, and their eyes would light up. But she loved that decoration so much that I ended up not being able to use it because she kept wanting to play with it and push the display button. So I just left it in the box and she just played with zombie heads for like 2 years. 2 years I kept those out for her to play with because she never wanted them to get put away. She loved to play with her zombie heads.
They're part of like the doll narrative of like whatever
Yeah.
story's going on.
Oh, and she has a creepy doll that we got from from Spirit Halloween that has red eyes that light up that looks like a dead
it like
zombie
a
baby.
Baby. Oh yeah, they have so
Yeah,
many babies there.
she loves it. She loves it, and that's her baby doll. She keeps it. She calls it her creepy baby. So she has a creepy baby.
Oh,
It's just in
that's
her
so
room, and she plays with
cute.
it like it's a baby. It's her creepy
I'm
baby.
living vicariously through you. You have a spooky daughter. I don't have any children, so I'm not
she's
putting
pretty
my
awesome.
children down because I don't have them. But that's so cute to have a spooky kid.
I think it's because of that. Like, and he brought this up in his question later. Actually, he brought up gargoyles too. I just realized that looking at the rest of the question. But yeah, we get exposed to that stuff because of I think our parents and our environment, and we either cling to it or we reject it. I clinged to it as a kid, and then it just grew from there. My daughter clinged to it pretty quickly, so she's similar to me, and I think she's gonna be a spooky lover just like me. The way she knows the lines to Scream better than I do, like
Cute.
she is in it, man. So she's gonna be in it for a while. She loves that spooky stuff, and I think she likes the fact that other kids are not allowed to like that stuff. Which makes her feel so elite.
Didn't she get sent home? Like, didn't one of the
I got an
schools
email.
call you about like a notebook she had from Hot Topic or something?
Yeah, she had a Scream notebook from Hot Topic, and the separations. You know how like certain journals you can have like separators to like
sections, yeah,
section off. Each section had a screenshot or it was a video cover from the film, one of the franchise films. So like Scream 3, the like cover, this cover was one of them. It was like the front of it was this Scream poster. One of the inserts was like the one with the original cast where they're like on all the sides, you know, the other one. And like, but at the bottom it had dripping blood. So in order for you to like get to that section, the tabs were actually blood drips.
Oh, that's
to flip
cool.
to it. So yeah, it is really cool. It's just a blank, like there's no knives on it. The only thing scary about it is the blood drips. But it wasn't necessarily the notebook. It's the fact that the notebook triggered my daughter to turn Tag into Ghostface and reenact whoever's it is.
Yeah, but she's not like
with
using a weapon.
No, it's just
like
fake. But it doesn't matter because it's like
Mm.
murdery, and they're like, that's probably not appropriate. Some of the other parents might not like that, so we're just gonna try to leave the Ghostface stuff at home.
I have a notebook like that, but it's Sailor Moon, and my sibling gave it to me. But how I got into horror, as you were saying, Justine, is like a lot. Sometimes it has to do with your parents. And my dad, that I only saw in the summers, trauma. But I'm just saying that as a joke because it's not like actually traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he when I was like 4 years old, I know that because my grandmother, who he lived with at the time, because my dad's was a winner. I love my dad. Don't get me wrong.
Because my dad's a winner.
My dad's a winner. He's passed away, and I love him. He had many flaws, but great guy. Anyway,
yeah,
that's not important. He showed me King Kong and it's like a movie that meant a lot to him. So I could see
Yeah.
him watching me watch it. And so it was the first time I'd watched a movie that had meant something to the person showing to me. And I liked the movie. Of course, there's a giant gorilla in it. Um, and it was so sad,
Very spooky,
you really
Robin.
feel bad for the monster because my dad was his generation, which he was born in 1956, 58, around there.
Mhm.
They would call them monster kids because to get a copy of Famous Monsters of Filmland on magazine, because I don't think we have too many young kids watching, but as you know, when this is later posted, um, but they didn't have it on the internet. They didn't have easy access to things in the same way, and those magazines are
Mhm.
expensive. So he was as much as he could. He got the Famous Monsters of Filmland, which is the first publication that is dedicated to horror that was mainstream. But I didn't know all that as a kid. So he showed me King Kong, and I loved it. And I knew how unfair it was, even though I couldn't express it. I'm 4,
Mhm.
I couldn't express it in the right way of how it's unfair. But you feel so bad for King Kong. He's taken away from his home.
Mhm.
He falls in love, or however you want to see it, with this human woman, and he's shot down by airplanes. Like, this is not his fault. And then Dad showed me Frankenstein, the first one. And that's another one where the monster doesn't understand the world and didn't ask to be in this world. And it just has that
Mhm.
sad tone to it. And
Mhm.
I don't remember, honestly, I don't remember if it was a version that had the little girl being thrown to the lake cut in or out. It was so long
Mhm.
ago. I do remember seeing it later and being affected by it, but at the first time, I don't
Mhm.
remember. But so he showed me all the Universal monster films, including like the ones that are down the line, like The Curse of the Mummy's Hand, all those
I'm
ones. And
trying to get my daughter to watch those. She's obsessed with Monster Squad.
this is a
Obsessed.
great film, great film.
And she loves it because the little girl saves everybody at the end, and she's the one that, like, befriends a monster, and, like, I think she sees herself in that little girl in the movie.
Mhm.
So, she really relates to it. I got her a Creeperama Monster Squad shirt. It's way too big for her, but I got it the smallest
It
size that
looks
they offer.
cute.
It is super cute. Like, she looks so cute in it.
So Spooky Robin in our chat is asking, what was your introduction to Giallo? But before that, El Chupacabra says
Yeah.
the original or the Jeff Bridges one, and I don't know what movie you're talking about. A little clueless. My brain's not working on full effect
I
right
think
now.
that's the King Kong thing.
Oh, it was the original. Jeff Bridges wasn't even born.
And then the rest of so I don't actually know what my introduction to Giallo was because I don't think I've ever actually mm, known that I was watching Giallo until recently. So I don't know. Because I want to say Suspiria, but then Emma would be like, "That's not Giallo."
Actually,
Yeah.
actually, there's quite a few reasons, and we'll get into it one day.
Yeah,
Why
we will. We'll do a Giallo episode.
there is a debate as to, like, some people feel it's giallo, and then people I know that are actually Italian are like Americans. But
Mhm.
anyway, what was my introduction to giallo?
I would say it would be like for me, it'd be the connection of American film that's been influenced by giallo would be
That's a good answer.
what
Yeah,
brought me to giallo because I didn't again
giallo.
know what that was until I started TikTok. I never even heard of the term. I had to look it up. So yeah, I would say that would probably be it. Oh yeah, Fulci is considered giallo. Really?
Um,
I'm gonna default to whatever Emma says because
for
Emma is
now, for
my
now.
expert on this because I can't be. I don't know anything about it. Um, but I did watch what was that recent one? Dark Glasses.
That's the recent one, and it is considered giallo. But the thing
Really
about
liked
it is,
that.
you did. I
Yeah,
didn't.
I loved it.
And
I had
that's
so
the
much fun
most
watching that
recent
one.
film by Dario Argento. I liked
Yeah.
it, but I think so. When it comes to, to be honest, I don't remember the first film that introduced me to giallo. It might have been a Bava film. I'm not sure, to
Mm.
be like, I have a bad memory, but I think what happened many years, like probably like 7 years ago. I found out about the term because I love her so much, and then I went on from there. I don't remember what the first one I technically watched was. I probably saw the original Suspiria before which I don't consider a giallo. But it is one of the probably the first Argento films I've seen. Who's considered one of
Same.
the leaders of, yeah, yeah. It's so like it has a lot of giallo. I always pronounce it wrong. Such a doofus. Giallo.
Vibes, right?
It probably
Think
was my
so.
introduction, even though I don't technically consider it uh a giallo film. But
Yeah, just like American giallo is probably not considered giallo because it's not Italian, right? But it
when
has
it doesn't have to be
it's
Italian,
inspired
like
by it. Oh,
knife and
okay, so it's
heart.
not like couture.
No, it's like Knife and Heart is a pretty contemporary, recently made, but not too recently. I don't know. Recently, such a relative term. Made by the French, and it's 100%. Yeah. And it's
Giallo.
Knife and Heart, and that's one we've actually gotten a lot of. We've had the question more than once in Trivial Pursuit. It's like, where does the killer have the knife? And the answer is a dildo. But I think they just say sex toy, and I'm like, why don't they just say dildo? I don't know.
So
Um,
so if you guys are not watching this live and you're coming back and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, um, and we're already done, can you let us know how many times we pronounced Jalo differently
Giallo. Yeah, I know.
in the comments? Because I'm
Like that.
curious. I think we said it
Like,
like 6 different ways already.
yes, absolutely. And it's embarrassing for me because, like,
It
I'm
just
the expert on it, but I can't pronounce it. And it's just the
I heard it was
Italian
like
word for
Jello, but
yellow.
like Giallo.
Giallo. Giallo. That,
Jello
I
with
think,
a
yeah.
"ia" in it. Giallo.
What it is, it's technically just the Italian word for yellow. That's all it is. Like, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah, I
really?
know. It's just like us. Yes.
Amarillo is
Okay. So
Spanish, right?
I don't want to ruin it because we'll have many episodes about
We
it.
are, we are. That's coming up, right? One of our next episodes after
It is one of our
exorcism.
upcoming episodes, but and I'll mention it then too. This is real quick. So
It is
in
live.
Italy, especially, is well, it's gonna go on to our YouTube forever.
Yeah,
We can
it
delete
is
it, but
live right now. We are live right now. This is real time, DC Carter, but it's going to later not be live once we're done.
see, El Chubby
And
Cabra is
I don't
saying it's
expect you
like,
guys to rewind in real life right now and count.
uh, yeah, no, it's saying it's like GIF
And
versus
GIF.
GIF.
Yeah.
Pronounce it how you
I
know
hear
what?
it
I
so
like
many
that.
different
A lot
ways.
of people are gonna say that's wrong. I should just learn how to pronounce yellow in Italian, and then I'll fine. So the reason it's
Yeah.
yellow in Italian is I'm such a nerd. I
Fun
hate
facts with
myself.
Emma.
It's that a lot of pulp detective or true crime novels were published in Italy with these yellow covers. Like, even if it was an Agatha Christie, and there's a popular
Mm.
Japanese, he introduced the detective story to Japan, and I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but I will for the episode. Or anybody, or the Jackie Chan books. Anybody that wrote popular detective fiction and it was translated into Italian, they had these yellow covers.
Is that why Dick
And
Tracy's in yellow?
no, but
Oh,
that's
that
a
would have been
it's
cool.
close. It's close. I have a lot of my dad's old Dick Tracy's comic books. I mean, they're not originals; they're like reprints. But I have, oh my god, I have so much of them.
That's
Anyway,
cool. Yeah, so we'll
mhm.
do a whole episode dedicated to Giallo. But for now, that is I really don't have a good answer for that. But when we dig deep into it, I will watch a whole bunch and then maybe I'll have a better answer. A better one.
So
But I did like
DJ
Dark Cloud.
Carter says Sergio Martino is a master. It's like, and then Retro Tape Noir
Yamato.
says Diamato. That, well, Diamato is a whole different bag, man. Like, Emperor
A whole different
Marcus,
bag.
it's a whole different
Bag.
bag. And then
Crystal is not going to be here today. Unfortunately, she's got a lot going on right now and would have had to connect
But
to her
she's fine.
phone. She's totally fine. Yeah, she's just too busy. So we wanted to go live. We wanted to see you guys. So we did an AMA. This was our fill-in for this week.
nice and
When
light. And
Crystal's back,
also,
we'll do our exorcism possession episode.
and Crystal wanted to let you guys know that she misses you too.
Yeah.
She probably misses us more, but she misses you too.
If you guys
She
have
does say
questions
that.
for Crystal, don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and we will put them on Discord and ask Crystal, and she can answer in Discord.
I do have a
So-
question on my anonymous thing for Crystal.
Yes, let's get one of those questions.
Where's
Emma.
Crystal? She's fine. She's just busy.
I just answered that one.
All right, so let's ask the Crystal question if I can find it. I think we've gained a certain following, Justine. This app, to be fair, does ask questions also, but I've done it long enough where I know what
Yeah.
kind of questions it asks, and it's never something adult. So somebody's being dirty, and we're gonna answer all of them, even if we don't really answer them. So the one
Okay.
that was specifically for Crystal is, why does Crystal hate ghost children? I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in our Discord, and we'll see if she gets a chance to respond. And if she responds while we're on here, I'll go ahead and answer and read it aloud for you guys. But otherwise, you should probably just join our Discord. I mean, it's where all the cool kids are. Duh. Okay, ghost children. Okay,
I'm gonna read this question.
that's so funny.
Yeah, she really does hate ghost children, like, severely.
Look at it.
I love it. So might be a question that the app asked me, because it's a question it would ask me, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So what song are you listening to right now? Or what's the last song you listened to?
Oh, I can pull up my Spotify and tell you right now.
Oh, I know, because
While I
I'm
was getting my
embarrassing.
makeup on, I was listening to it. End of the World, The Cure.
That's a great answer.
That was the song I was listening while I was putting on this makeup.
It looks great. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
The last song I listened to, because there's a certain time of year where a woman feels the need to have sex on the beach in black and white and, like, be in the waves with a relationship that might be questionable for whatever
This
reason.
is so specific. I wonder who has this. Like,
so
just a
the
woman.
last song, a woman, maybe me, is Chris Isaac's "Wicked Game" was the last song I was listening to.
I just listened to that song too, but it was by him.
Oh, that's a great cover too. I used to have the hymn I got from Hot Topic in high school, and it was pink.
Me
and
too. With the heartogram, right?
Yes, and it had like him on it too. And I wasn't even the biggest him fan, but I'm like, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah. I love
And
him.
then El Chubby Copper says, Cindy Prescott said, this is too specific. I haven't been having sex on the beach. I'm in New Hampshire. It's too cold. And then El Chubby Copper said, last song I heard was Metallica, If Darkness Had a Sun. Wicked.
Very good. Very good. Kick-ass. I may have to buy the album. Yeah. Okay.
I was here in 2003, 204. I don't know if you mean Wicked Game.
For Emma. This one's for
there's
Emma.
a question. Who asked me a question?
Spooky Robin asks, would you date for favorite puppet? What? Who would you rather date for your favorite puppet from Puppet Master? Would you date your favorite? I think it's, would you date your favorite puppet from Puppet Master? What? She said, no, thank you guys. I don't know what happened to her. Sorry. I'm going to guess that she probably wouldn't. They're too little. And Mechanical. One moment, please, you guys. She'll be back, I'm sure. Her device came disconnected, it looks like. That's how she felt about it. Yeah. She's like, ew, bye. Yeah, one vomits leeches. That's gross. I mean, I guess she's trying to be like sexy about it though. Like he's like dreaming in that scene, right? And he's just like, oh yeah. Let's see if we got her. We got her. You're muted.
Did. Can you
There we
hear me?
go. There we go. Yeah.
I can't hear you. Oh my god. I might have to leave and come back.
Yeah. Do that. Perfect. Okay, yeah. Yeah, what it was really gross. And she was just like wasn't licking him though, but she was like putting leeches on him and he was just all about it in his dream, right? It's gross. All right, 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yes. I accidentally disconnected my thing. The question wasn't like too much for me. I just had a
I love it.
my favorite puppet from Puppet Master. I mean, it's gonna be a boring answer, but
No, would you date your favorite puppet?
I know. I'm gonna get to that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a basic answer, but I love Blade. He's classic. He looks good in all the films. I would not date a puppet. Like, I love puppets.
That's what I said. I said they're too small. I literally did that. I was like, they're too small and mechanical.
They're too small and like,
yeah, that's what I said.
Like, I might take Blade to a movie.
What?
I might take Blade to a movie. Oh, Chubby Cover. Blade popped in and cut her wires. Yes, he did. No, he did.
Come on, you guys. Give me some credit, though. I freaking nailed it. I said, I think I can answer for her. And I'm going to say, she's going to be like, they're too small and mechanical.
It's true. Although I do have a thing for people that are into old vaudeville acts that includes puppeteering, ventriloquism.
She's into puppets, period. You're into puppeteers. Period.
I'm into puppeteers. It's
Mary
true.
Shaw? Yes.
She's a ventriloquist. Ventriloquism and puppeteering is different.
Same lane.
All right. And also not modern magicians like Chris Angel, but old-timey magicians. Ooh. I have my issues.
All I can think of is like Vincent Price. That's what I'm imagining when I think of like an old-timey.
Oh, stop. He's the sexiest man that ever lived.
I know.
Oh my god. It is a crime. It is a crime. He's right here. Yeah. It is a crime that I wasn't Vincent Price's fourth wife. It is a true crime that needs to be solved. It's unfair.
Pinhead has human-sized hands.
I don't care. I can't date Pinhead.
He
has like a triangle head. He's like, it's implied that he's dumb too. And not that I can have sex with a dumb person, but he's like a puppet and dumb. It's too much.
And mechanical. Ugh. No,
I'm sorry. Oh, Optimisty, you're here. Yes. So I'm sorry to disappoint everyone. I
would not
have
date a puppet.
Puppet from Puppet Master.
I would go on a date with him, but nothing would happen after that.
It's like that. It's like platonic.
Strictly platonic.
So
we could talk about guns.
I do appreciate the question, though. I love that kind of question. So
would not
props
with a puppet.
No, I would be friends with a puppet and have sex with the puppeteer, possibly if they were hot.
Oh, I just added another layer in my mind to the question.
What? What's the question? What would
the puppeteer with the puppet?
Would you have? Are you into puppeteers, Justine?
No. I mean, I can be. I'm starting to be. This is starting to get interesting.
It's opening up. If anybody watched our episode on aliens, and I was talking about the alien puppets from Feeders, Justine seemed into it. So I watched it again, Justine.
I was into it. Yeah.
You're into the Pennsylvania men with tube socks, which actually I recently watched. They're
Yeah.
the McBride brothers. They're the McBride brothers, and I
Yeah.
actually recently watched one of their more popular films called
Sydney
Hallucinations.
Prescott. Me and her are always on the same page. We're on the same wavelength for sure.
You guys are always. And I did watch a McBride's Brothers film that they did feeders. It's called Hallucinations, and it's probably one of their most popular films. And I lost it. Like, I almost died. I was so happy, and it was hilarious because it wasn't meant to be hilarious.
Yeah, we're on Twitch
So-
right now also. Twitch and YouTube.
And what happened is there's a character that needs to get up and go check out the noise, right? And this
Yeah.
character is mustachioed Pennsylvania guy with glasses. And he's just fallen asleep in like a basic white t-shirt, his tighty whiteys. And
Tube
so he
socks?
puts tube socks, yes. But that's not even the best part. That's not even the best part. I almost lost my mind. So to check out the noise in the basement, and he's in bed, he's getting his shoes on, and I see him crunch them over. He has Velcro shoes on, and I'm like, oh my god!
Okay, that ends it for me though. I don't think I could do Velcro shoes on a guy. I'm sorry,
And it's
you guys.
not played as a joke. It's not played as a joke.
89, at least over 80. Or you're under 2. You should not have Velcro shoes. I can't.
And I was alone watching this, and I just lost it. I'm like, that's the best thing that's ever happened in a
I
movie
could
ever.
not take someone seriously if I saw them.
I
Like,
could.
taking their shoes off. Oh my god, I would instantly dry up. No, thank you.
I wasn't turned on by it, but it was funny because they didn't make a big like oh ho ho joke about it. It was just like normal, and I'm like, oh my god.
So
It's also in
retro-
combination with the tube socks and the tidy whities.
Retro Tape Noir, who's Blind Biggie. That's Blind Biggie from TikTok and Discord. He asked what makeup effects artist. Do you want us to say like what our favorite like makeup effects artist is? I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have a specific makeup effects artist, but I mean, I feel like Stan Winston's school just nails it usually pretty well. I get pretty excited when I see them named like in the credits. Excuse me.
And they also show a lot of cool stuff from old movies on their Instagram and Twitter. And they also have classes that relatively are cheap. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
Like
they're
if you don't
really fun to watch on Instagram for sure. I follow them because they're always dropping cool little nuggets.
I think my favorite that I can think of at the moment is I mean, obviously Rick Baker is an obvious choice. But also V. Neal, who won an Oscar for her work. I don't know if she won. I can't remember if it's nominated or won for Mrs. Doubtfire. And also she did the mossy look and everything for Beetlejuice. And V. Neal is in a male-dominated field, and she's super cool. So V. Neal is what I'll say.
Yeah, I like that answer. I don't know if I can say like specifically. I can tell you about movies that impacted me because of the makeup effects, but
tell us.
I don't. Oh yeah, I mean, like American Werewolf in London for sure is at the top of that.
Yeah. That's
any
the first
Alien
makeup
movie?
effect artist to win an Oscar.
The Alien movies for sure.
Oh yeah.
Predator. I just anything where you just get lost in what they've created. The Descent creatures are freaking amazing. I love them. Oh man, I literally they're like my top favorite movies. So Dracula, the costume and the makeup in that film and the prosthetics, everything in that movie.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. All of it, from head to toe. That movie is like visual candy for me. So,
I have severe
um,
outfit envy for the Lucy character. All her clothes,
oh,
even when
all the
she's
brides
Boba.
for me. All
Mm.
the brides. Like, I would love to dress like Dracula in that movie, actually. He's got a fantastic wardrobe as well. Oh, and then Spooky Robin asks, favorite movie scores? I have a lot of these, man.
So I'm very partial, not only because I'm an Oingo Boingo fan. I do love a lot of music for darkened theater stuff from Danny
Mhm,
Elfman. I wouldn't say it's my
mhm,
favorite, but like it's just been with me for so long. And then
mhm.
John
He's got an
Carpenter
S, so you can
really
plural it.
knows how to throw down his last scores albums. But I
Yeah.
think that, and Simon Boswell's also awesome. Um,
I'm
I
a
think
huge
I
fan
have
of
to go.
Zimmerman, so
So one
I
cool thing about Zimmerman that I love is that for The Dark Knight, when
yeah.
what he do for the Joker's theme, Heath Ledger's
Mhm,
Joker, is that he would do a violin and it's building up to, crescendo, up to the
mhm.
climax, but it never climax. So it's like this leave of tension. He makes so many smart choices. But I think that Enikio, who's done a lot of the spaghetti westerns, oof, oof, hard not to pick him. I'd say he's does a lot of great scores, although I mostly listen to his scores from other films as well. There's
Trent
just so many
Reznor.
great,
Trent Reznor
and Atticus
also
Ross.
yeah, and Atticus Ross, fantastic. I love anything that they score. You can tell it's them immediately.
Help me,
Same with
step
Zimmerman, though.
bro.
Um, yay, Trent. um,
Oh, I
but
like films. Thank you for joining us. I know you from Instagram.
yeah, thanks for joining. I love, oh my God, I loved all of Jordan Peele's scores as well. Like everything in his film. I think his sound design is super smart.
Does he
The
score them
it,
himself?
I don't think so. But I think he's heavily involved in it. Because you can tell his films have a similar score and vibe. So I haven't really looked into who's scoring it, but the sound design on like Nope was ridiculous. Um, I loved it. I loved it so much. I think that made that movie so much more than even the visuals and at times. I think it just the score and sound just launch you in that movie. But it's also in Get Out. Get Out, I think all of the song choices and sound chosen and the ambiance that's created by the sound design in that film really worked. Like it just really impacted me. Like I can hear that movie when I think about it. Those are the movies that I definitely gravitate towards. Like I can hear Dune when I think about Dune or uh, anything by Zimmerman. I can hear the Batman. Dun, dun. Oh my god, I
Who
loved the
did that?
Batman score.
Zimmerman?
Giacoco? Giacono?
Hello, along the spectrum art. Thank you for joining us.
I can't
Um,
remember, but I'm gonna have to look it up. But
so I
he did
love
the score for the Batman. Michael
Closier
Giacchino?
who d-
Giacchino?
who did he used to be a member of the touring group for Nine Inch Nails for quite a long time, from the early 2000s into the early 2010s, I believe. And
He did
he did
Coco
this.
too.
He did the Saw franchise, and I gotta say, even the crappiest Saw movies, that go there's a certain satisfaction at the end when the killer goes through their little explanation and
And the reveal.
we just hear the theme start and
Yeah.
slowly bleed into it. And it's always so satisfying, even when I don't
And
like the
all the
movie that much.
flashbacks bombard you.
I love I can't wait for us to do that. Like, so when I talk, some people have actually, when I say people, I mean two people, have messaged me about like, why do you love Saw so much? Why do you think it's so? One person's like, why do you think it's like worthwhile or artistic? I don't know how they said it. They said it a certain way. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that I think they're brilliant works of art. That's not what I mean. Part of it is what they mean to the time that they were made and how their reaction to our society at a certain time. And another part is like they make so many dumb mistakes, not because they're dumb and make mistakes, and it's not because they want to make a movie it's so bad it's good. It's they killed Jigsaw way too early, John
Yeah.
Kramer. So they made flashbacks even more a part of it, and I hate that. Like what I think it's Saw
Mhm.
3, where it's like they'll show you two different scenarios, and one scenario happened like forever ago, and you feel cheated. Like what the fuck? But I admire them for doing it. Like there's something about it that I'm addicted to, but we'll get into it in our Saw franchise episode. That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen for Saw 10. So,
Look at how
yeah.
excited
So
you are, Justine.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun because I'm
It
a
will
huge fan
be.
of
Oh
James Wan. No, it's not that bad.
hey, we
I'm
don't
looking
talk
forward to it. I
badly
like the
about
first Saw movie.
Smooshy.
I like a few of the Saw. I
Did
like
you
the one
see
in
it
the
in
house.
theaters?
Yes, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh,
And
I'm
I
so
remember going,
jealous.
"What?" Like at the
I
end.
wish I was in
Like,
theaters with somebody that saw it for the first time. And I'm not going to spoil it just in case. We'll obviously in our episode we will. When the
yeah.
end happened and something specific that like has been there the whole time and then becomes something else, and I'm like, oh, it's so simple. How did I not fucking think about that?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I
Wish
also
I
think
was in
it's
a
the number
theater.
one twist that people lie about saying they knew was coming. Like
I
I
did not see it
swear,
at all. Not
anytime
at
someone's
all.
like, "Oh, you knew that was coming," I'm like, "I bet you did. I bet you did. Yeah,
Sure,
sure you
sure.
did. You're so cool.
You're so
Smart."
smart. I'm so dumb. I actually do say it
Bullshit.
a lot,
Like
but in that situation, it's not true.
yeah. So yeah, I like the Saw score. I think that's a good one. That's a good one. It's very. I like the iconic ones. Anything synthy. If it's got some synth in it, forget about it. I love it.
Mhm.
I love the synth. That's why we got synth in our
Da-na-na,
stuff. Like,
da-na-na, da-na-na,
because I
da-na-na.
picked the music and I like synth, so we got synth in our
We
stuff
also love
too.
the 80s.
So we do, we do.
The
Uh,
last one I saw was the one with the girl from Who's Harry Crumb. So I honestly haven't seen Who's Harry Crumb, so I need another reference. I watched Spiral was the last one I
oh yeah,
watched.
the Shining score. That's a good one. Yeah, those iconic ones.
Oh
I mean,
yes.
the ones that you know the minute you hear them, you gotta love, right? Have you ever played the original Silent Hill?
I
I
have
don't know.
played the
Was that
second
specifically
one.
for Crystal, Biggie? Because it's responding to her question about creepy kids. The original Silent Hill, I did play, and that's when I realized horror video games are not for me. Not for me at all. That is how I break controllers, TVs. I get scared way too easily with video games. I got scared playing Tomb Raider
Have
because
you
a
tried to play
freaking
Outlast?
wolf
That's a pretty
jumped out
creepy
at me in a
one.
cave, and I was like,
Have you tried to play
or a tiger.
Outlast? That one's scary as
I don't play scary games. I barely
it's
used
an
to
old
play.
one.
I didn't even play Halo, like the story. I just played like the first person like tourney style stuff, like 1v1 and stuff. Like something I played. I never actually even played the story because I don't even think that one would be good on my heart. I did play
Well,
Tomb Raider though, and that one was enough. That was enough scare for me. That one had a lot of jump scares with animals.
I never played Tomb Raider, but how I got into gaming for a period of time, and now I have too many things. I have to when I have free time,
Yeah,
I have to make it for something specific.
yeah.
Like, hey, do I want to continue getting better at the guitar to play a video game? And that's just for me,
Oh, yeah.
or read a book. And
Books
not
for
that one
me.
is better than the other. It's just that like I only have so much time. So so my dad, who was not very tech savvy, but for some reason he was into certain video games, and it's like probably I can't say it's the first horror game, but it's one of the early ones. So the
Mhm.
graphics are a certain way.
It's so funny
But
going
wait,
back and playing those. You're like, "I
and
can't believe
my
I thought this was, like, the coolest and most realistic thing I ever saw."
I know.
And she's got,
And
like, box boobs.
Yes, it was all boxy, all of it. And it was called Alone in the Dark. And
Oh, that's such a fun movie. It's such a shitty movie, and I love it.
is that the one with John Cusack that sucks?
No, it still sucks. It's the one with Christian Slater and Tara Reid, and it sucks.
That's what I mean. That's the person I mean. Okay,
Yeah,
Christian Slater.
yeah.
Um,
I still love
but
it.
it's nothing like the video game. It's nothing like the video game. And I usually don't have a clue about that, but I do know about that one. So it's one of the first video games I ever played because my dad was into it. And like you'd have to put like a chest in front of the window so the monster wouldn't come in. And there's this whole climax with the
That's the
basement.
first video game you ever played?
Yeah.
I think the first video game I played was on, help me out, guys. What is that machine called? It had a keypad and a dial. Like
And
that was my
well, I
first
had the
experience with
Lion
video
King
games.
game where it was like just
Yeah,
that
and
game.
then Nintendo, I had my first Nintendo game was Mario Brothers, of course, and Duck Hunt. And then Mario Brothers 2, which I can't remember what that one was called, but it's one where Peach floated and you pulled radishes out of the ground. And then
A lot
like
of people are mentioning Resident Evil 2, which I don't think I've ever played. I know you played
ColecoVision.
something.
I think that's it. The keypad and the dial. Yeah. And it had like this racing weird, like it looked like Tron. That's what I remember. It was like Tron. It reminded me of Tron. Anyways, that's what we had for my first gaming console that I ever touched. And then I got an NES and a NES. And then, man, what was the
What did you ever
what was
play
that Disney
Twisted
game I had?
Metal?
Aladdin.
Uh,
Aladdin. That's what I had for
Oh
Disney.
my god, I
I had
played
the
that too
Aladdin
on like
game.
Sega. I think it was Sega.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It might have been. Yeah, maybe.
because
It
I
might have been the one
never
that we
owned
played Sonic on
Aladdin, but
too.
it was a friend that owned Aladdin. I'm pretty sure it's the friend that had a Sega. But
Yeah, I think you're right.
what was I saying? Oh my god, my brain's not working. What were you talking about before? You talked about the
My
damn it,
first
it's
console.
gone. No, yeah. Oh, Twisted Metal on PS1. Did you ever play it?
I did not, no.
Oh, I
I
loved
did
it.
not.
I
I
loved
was
being
never a fan
dangerous
of
in
the
a
racing
car.
games.
I loved it. And then you had to
No.
defeat the clown in the ice cream truck at the end. That's one of the only games I was really good at as a kid. And that
I
was
don't think it was until
Twisted
Mario Kart
Metal.
that I actually got into any games that involved racing.
Oh my god, the Rainbow Bridge sucks. I still have
Yeah.
I literally have nightmares about it,
I've
but I
always
still think
Rosalina.
I love Rosalina, but I hate the rainbow track.
Bridge,
It
yeah.
sucks.
I like it. I hate the one where it's like I think it's called Chompa Island or something. With the little chompas or something, and it goes underwater at points, and then it's on the sandbar, and like I always fuck that one up. I always get so confused on where I'm at in that one. Anyways, that's
So I have
awfully
another
specific.
question.
Yeah, bring it.
That is totally my fault that we have this question. I don't know who asked it.
Is it dirty?
No, but I have some dirty ones later, actually. I think I'm cursed with this forever because I made it my business to know about it. What are all of your opinions on a Serbian film? So you go first, Justine.
I have no opinions. I have not partaked because I have no interest in that movie.
Fair. So my response to that is almost become robotic. I made a point of knowing, so I kept on coming up. No matter what film I was talking about, that was a horror film that I liked or thought was spooky or whatever it was, kept coming up from teenagehood till now. Although I do get it less now, but sometimes there's a surge of people talking about it. And of course, there was a surge when they released the uncut version. Kill me. I have seen a Serbian film. I rented it on Amazon, which you can't do right now. It's not available. but how transversive can a film be that you rented on Amazon? Like, really? Uh, so
Yeah, I've just never had an
again,
interest, so I didn't watch it.
I love to torture myself, and
Yeah, you do. You
mm,
do.
well,
You
the most famous scene set aside, there is a beheading. I'm not condoning this film. I'm just saying there's a beheading in it that we see beheadings in action films, horror films, all types of films all over the place. So it's not really super kind of dulled down to it. But there's a
uh-huh.
specific beheading in a Serbian film that was rough to watch. That as a whole, if it didn't have the other stuff, I'd be like, bravo. But I'm not gonna go deep into it. But basically, everything that it has to say politically is through
Mhm.
allegory. Like the most famous scene, including a baby, which is basically, I mean, it's like, oh, it's symbolic of the new republic of Serbia after the Yugoslav wars, and how the elite,
So
raped.
edgy.
Oh my god, it's so edgy. But not. How the elite is like how it rapes the new republic with its like dirtiness and corruption. Almost like whenever a film is controversial by telling an important message through allegory, I'm like, sure.
Sure. Sure.
If you took away obviously the last taboos of film it has, which we all know what those are, and the extreme violence, but keeping a lot of violence that is pretty harsh. No one would care about this movie. There's a total
True.
revenge like trickery plot involved that's supposed to be a big reveal at the end. Like, oh my god, that is totally unearned with a character that's hardly in it. So I see a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people I respect, and I still respect them, say, hey, a Serbian film has a political message, and they're allowed to feel that and think that. I'm not saying they're wrong, but ew. Because I through allegory, like it's just bullshit to me. It's just bullshit to me. It's not an awful movie. It's a very mid movie. If they didn't have all the things involving the baby and very
Mhm.
young children, I'd probably have a lot more a
To
relaxed
say.
opinion about it.
Yeah, same. I would have seen it if they didn't have some of that stuff. So, like,
It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. I mean, it's obviously simulated, but it's enough.
it doesn't
It's
matter.
not.
I just don't want that in my brain, like,
Nor do
at
I,
all.
but I hate myself and I need to see it because I have to
Yeah.
know. It's like I can't judge a film that everyone's talking about until I've seen it,
Yeah, unless you've
and I had to do
experienced
that.
it.
Uh, like 120 Days of Sodom, a slash Solo. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I recently watched a documentary about the director, who is a complicated person. And I do think so. The question about that film is, okay, how could you take a book written by the Marquis de Sade, which was 120 Days of Sodom,
Mhm.
and then put it in a very realistic historic place, which was the fascist Italian Mussolini, very briefly considered its own little state, and what was going on at that time. So, very extremely sensitive time in history to talk about,
Mhm.
meshing it with the Marquis de Sade. So a lot of people are like, is this exploitation, and allegory put in, and it's just garbage, or does it actually have something to say? And I actually wanted to rewatch it, but it's not streaming anywhere, so I had to buy it. And
Mm.
then the director was
Hello.
murdered very shortly after the film came out, and
Hi, Rob's vintage video.
there's a whole other thing about it. Picky violence, that's Japanese. That's a whole other thing. If you want to ask a specific question about it or a specific film, you can. Because I know. Um, is so when it comes
Stay
to
away. She's already been there.
I've been there so much. I love us. I have. It's embarrassing and
You saw that, Phoebe?
also
Thank you.
something I have pride with.
My
But
horns
also,
fell off.
but just wrapping it up with Salo 120 days of Sodom. From what I remember, because it's been a very long time, I have
Mhm.
ordered it because I'm a sicko. Is that it's both exploitive garbage and also a work of art at the same time. But if you guys want us to do an episode on something like that, maybe, because I do think Justine could handle that. Not that you're like, couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, there's no children involved and all that stuff. And it's
I agree.
not
I
body
can't even
horror.
handle Tusk. Like,
It doesn't have any kind of body horror like Tusk, but it's is people being tortured. So we'll see.
oh
We're
well,
never
if
gonna
it's like
do it.
Martyrs, if it's more along the lines of Martyrs, I can handle it. I liked
It is
Martyrs.
more there's
Um,
more along the lines of Martyrs, but there are it's like the elite men in the world just engaging in sexual and just demeaning torture of these people, like eating stuff
mhm.
that has it full of nails and eating
Have you seen
literal
Dread?
shit. I haven't.
Oh, watch that. Watch that and let me know what you think.
What's in it? What's in it?
It's kind of that. It's it's literally like making people torturing people with their biggest fears to like study how they react to them, but in a very malicious way. The movie effed me up at the end. That's one of those movies that, like, at the ending, just my brain was just like, and I had to like watch a palate cleanser. Like that's one of those movies.
What's the year it was made around?
It's
You
got
can put
Jasper
it.
from Twilight.
Well, you can put it in the
I will put
Discord,
it.
whether it's
I
creator
will.
chart or what.
I will.
So
I will pull up the 2009 Dread.
and
It was one of
hello,
the I think
Rob's
8 films
vintage.
to die for a
Oh,
long
I
time
love those.
ago.
I love those.
But it's got
Another one that's
Jasper from
good.
Twilight. What's his face? Jackson Rathbone.
Is he related to Basil Rathbone?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that would be
Who's
cool.
Basil?
Basil Rathbone.
Basil. I don't know. It doesn't say on. Doesn't say on here.
All right. Anyway, but so hello, Rob's Vintage Video. Thank you for joining us. If you're still with us, I have another question.
Shoot. I'm gonna put that movie in all of these because Dread. I think you guys would like it if you're like fans of kind of the exploitative genre, I guess, or you're into movies like Saw, or you're into movies like Martyrs, but you don't necessarily you want something with, I don't know,
I would
some
think
meat.
Martyrs is worse than Saw, in my opinion. Some other people might feel differently,
It's
but
just
if you
different, in my opinion. Like it's still torture porn to a degree, but there's a little bit more of a mystical purpose and element to it, I guess. But Dread is not like that. It's like film studies class. It's like some psychology students, and one of them is just fucking nuts. Like,
you're gonna love this next question, Justine.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Sexiest horror villain.
That's a really hard one, actually. Well, so I obviously love a good mask. You know what I'm saying? So, Ghostface.
Wait for your Ghostface opinion because there's a specific Ghostface question.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Ghostface, but like if we're talking like unmasked, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of horror zaddies out there, man.
Optimisty is so on my wavelength because I'll say in a moment.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm literally trying to think of all of the videos I've made. I have like 6-parters out there of like horror zaddies that I'm obsessed with. Jensen Ackles. My Bloody Valentine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one. My heart went there.
His
That or the
face is
guy
so
from
square. His face is so
the
square.
wax one, the wax guy, the guy from House of
From
Wax.
Vincent Price. Vincent Price is super
No,
hottie.
the remake. Jesus,
I
don't
knew,
you
I
know
knew.
me at all? Yeah, you do. You're like, yeah, I do it.
Uh, Obviously, any villain Vincent Price plays because he was the sexiest man alive, and it's a crime. I wasn't his fourth wife. It's a crime against humanity. Anyway, but so one villain that I'm super attracted to, especially in the second one, she's
Yeah.
the reason that Hellraiser was almost called The Desperate Need. What a Woman Wouldn't Do for a Good Fuck was almost the title of the film. Is Julia. I
Yeah.
love Julia. Especially the second one where she's like, I've changed the story, Snow White. I'm no longer the wicked stepmother, but the wicked queen.
The
Ah.
problem I have is I am typically attracted, like I love dark romance. I love the villains. I always fall for the villains. So it's
I almost
harder for
do.
me to pick a hero I like more than the villain. I typically get really sad when movies don't end darker because I'm like, I would never. Like he was gonna burn the world down for you, woman. What's wrong with you? Like I always go for the villain. So
I always do too.
all
It's
of
my
them.
part of my brokenness.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good segue into the question that came up is of the ghost faces, which one is the hottest? I have a quick answer.
Yeah, go
None
ahead.
of them. Ew. Uh,
Such a hater.
I'm not a
Haterade.
hater, but I will say
Pick
I felt
one.
I felt a bit of satisfaction, a lot of satisfaction because I have an ego. Is that you guys were both like
I thought of that one too.
slight
Chupacabra.
spoilers for Scream 6. Slight. Maybe actually big, actually.
No,
Is
no, no,
that you
don't
guys
say
were like,
spoilers for Scream 6. If you guys want those, go watch
okay.
our Scream episode and then we talk about it. I think we were gonna talk about it.
You're
But
like,
there's
this ghost face
it's
is
just
so sexy. He has such a
he
command.
is.
And
He
then you make
is.
fun of me all the time for being into men much older than me. And I'm like, ah,
And on the reveal, it was like the most disappointing thing for me. Yeah, totally. So he is the sexiest ghost face, but like as far as like after reveal, like post reveal,
none of
maybe
them. None of them.
no, a lot of them actually for me, a
No,
lot of them.
no, no.
Like I think Billy and Stu are both attractive, and I especially love Stu. But Mickey Timothy Oliphant is like on another level of gorgeous to me. He is
Ew.
so fine.
I'm
So
such a
Timothy
child.
Oliphant,
He's all for
um,
you. All for
but
you.
also I think Jill Roberts is gorgeous. I think that she's a beautiful woman and I love her and she is
Who is
just driving
she?
me crazy. Uh, Jill Roberts.
Yeah.
She's Jill Roberts.
Which ghost face is she? I don't know.
Her name's Jill Roberts. She's good. It's Charlie and Jill. Charlie and Jill in
I
Scream
thought it
4.
was Emma Roberts.
That's the actress, Emma Roberts, but the character is Jill Roberts.
Oh, okay. I know that character. Okay. No,
Yeah,
she's like a
Scream
child
4.
to me. No, not hot.
I think she's gorgeous. But yeah, she is a little childish in that. She's not a child. She's gorgeous.
I agree.
Still
El
gorgeous.
Chubby Cabra stretch when she's at the end doing the chainsaw dance in her little shorts. I love it.
And then what's her face in 5? Is it Erica? I think that's her name, Erica.
What she would hardly ever register with me, so how hot could she be?
She was very pretty.
She's
I
pretty.
think
but
Jack Quaid is good looking too, but a doofus. So his character's a doofus. So
Jack Quaid, he's Dennis Quaid's son, right?
Yeah, he's
Is
Scream
he the
5.
one
He's
that is the
Richie.
sheriff's son?
No spoilers. I mean,
Well, it's Scream 5.
yeah.
It's been out quite a while. I think it's okay.
No, not Scream 5. Not the sheriff's son. That's Wes.
Whatever.
I'm talking about Richie, her boyfriend, Sam's
You need
boyfriend.
Crystal right
in Scream
now.
5. Anywho, so I say my
Whatever, I
hottest
could
to me
hardly
is Timothy
register.
Oliphant, Mickey. That final answer.
You think Mickey's hotter than Skeet Ulrich?
hmm
Ah,
I think
because
all
they're very
three of them
similar to me.
are bang on hot though. Like top 3. They're almost all tied. It's really hard to pick. I bet tomorrow I'll say Billy, and then I'll say Stu. They're interchangeable.
I
I'll
won't.
take
I
all 3.
won't.
Why choose?
Babies, babies.
Where's my Sydney Prescott in the comments? To like, she would have said that. I know she would have.
Oh, I like films. Thank you for joining us. If you could cast any actor in a horror film who is not known for horror, who has never been in a horror film, who would you cast? That's something I have to think on. Somebody that's never been in a horror film, not known for horror films. That to be alive.
Isla Fisher.
Who's that?
From Wedding Crashers, and
is she the one married to Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yeah,
Baron
she's
Cohen?
married to Sasha.
I have such a crush on her. Also,
I would love to see her doing some like as a murderer. Like I want to see her unhinged in a horror film.
He said it doesn't have to be alive. So, let me think.
Not known for horror.
That's a hard question. Without
it is. I'm trying to think of like ones that haven't been in horror, and it's tough. I can think of some that like have been in very little horror that I'd like to see just come back to horror.
I have an answer.
More horror. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's done a film that is technically considered horror. He's definitely done some thrillers. I'm gonna say Paul Newman. Let's give Paul Newman. I could do Alive or Dead. Let's Paul Newman as a absolute horror villain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did Towering Inferno, which was, let's say, not a great movie, for some money, and so it would be great to see the man that for charity, for the greater good, is on our ranch dressing bottles being a horror movie. I think it'd be great.
I think comedians, like comedic actors who are well known for comedy.
Can you imagine Jerry Seinfeld as the villain? Like, what's the deal with?
Yeah.
I think Cary Grant definitely has the acting chops to do it. I mean, I know that Peter O'Toole's done a lot of interesting parts. I don't know if he's been in technically a horror film. Alejandro Jodorowsky, who, good news, everybody, in case you haven't heard, is doing another film. Director of Santa Sangre, one of my favorite films. So where was I going with this?
I don't know, because I was talking about comedy and I was going to say something.
Cary Grant. I think it would be interesting to see someone like Cary Grant. I don't know how they got into Alejandro Jodorowsky. Play in a horror. I think Danny DeVito as the Penguin counts as horror. That was pretty dark and gross.
So this is what I was saying though. Like I think comedians are so good at losing themselves in humor that they're like so quick to transition and just go all in a horror character or a horror film. That's why I think comedic actors do such a good job in horror, and not just to be funny in horror, but like scary in horror. Like you think of like Robin Williams in Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo. Yeah, like he is so good at it. And I think that comedians and people who dig into fantasy, they know how to lose themselves into a character fully enough to really like sell it. Because like Emma Roberts, who we were talking about just a little bit ago, she's not good at selling things. She's just not. She's a fairly satirical looking actor. Like her performances come off very satirical, very written. And that's her style. And it works sometimes. It worked on like Scream Queens. I think it works for her in certain avenues. I think it worked for her in Scream 4 because again, it's almost
American Horror Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like she would not do well in horror, in like serious horror, and she didn't. I don't think that she does perform well in that arena because I don't think she loses herself enough in the character to like make it believable. Florence Pugh, though, can be anything. Anything, and I believe her.
Oh my god, that
Anything.
makes me think of somebody that I want to see in more movies, and I have rated this movie poorly because I kind of conflated it with The Girls Next Door, which was a reality show. I fucking love The House Bunny. Oh my god, Anna Faris needs more jobs, please.
I think so. She would be great in horror. That's a good one. That's a good one. I think Anna Faris would be phenomenal in horror. I bet she would nail it.
A lot of horror people, which somebody mentioned, Benedict Cumberbatch, which I think is typical for like Americans, is like a British actor be great for the villain, and I think he could do it definitely, and he probably has to a degree. I don't know a lot of his career, besides the popular ones, but I definitely think
he's definitely done adjacent, like thriller and dramas and stuff. For sure. And he's played like nefarious characters like Khan.
Oh my god, Khan! Yes! Oh my god. Do we want to talk about Star Trek now? No.
We do not. He was great. I thought he was great. So
he was great. He not as good as the original, but I thought he did a really good job with the material he was presented. But anyway,
question, though. I really liked that question.
No, I like that question. Khan. I definitely think that so Benedict Cumberbatch is someone I remember has said this, but I remember I've heard many actors say this. This is Benedict Cumberbatch is the one I know I remember has said this, is that if you can do comedy, you can do anything, because there's a certain level of difficulty with comedy. Like, I'd love to see Zach Galifianakis do a horror movie. Have you seen Betwixt the Ferns? Oh my god.
Yes.
I love it so much. He's so funny.
Ferns. Between two ferns. I love how you call it Betwixt the Ferns.
No, the thing is that there's a joke in it, in the movie version, where he's like, I wanted to call it Betwixt two ferns, but I thought people wouldn't get it. And I love how Matthew McConaughey drowned. So, okay, this is not a question, but I need to talk about it a little.
Well, ask one more question and then talk about it.
I have many questions actually from folks.
Let's get some more in there. We'll be a little quicker with our answers. Sorry.
All right. Well, remind me to talk about Matthew McConaughey's The Art of Living later.
Okay. Okay.
I watched the whole thing. Okay.
Wait, okay. Go ahead and talk about it, because I actually have a little tidbit that I thought was really crazy about Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
They might be brothers.
They might be half brothers.
Yeah.
But Matthew McConaughey did that. So I kept seeing ads for it. I don't even follow Matthew McConaughey. Although, to be fair, I posted clips where I made that joke that maybe I am Matthew McConaughey and I Scooby-Doo myself. So I don't know how common it was for people to get these ads, but I kept on getting these ads of like, do you want to get the most out of your life? And it's Matthew McConaughey, and he's like, the art of not living. And I had a morbid curiosity. I didn't watch it live because it's on his YouTube channel for free. So basically what it comes down to is this famous company owned by this, I don't know, other very famous self-help guy that everyone knows but me, because I'm in the dark. It seems to me that they read his book called Green Lights. And I'm picturing like green lights on a darkened sports field in the fall when there aren't any sports being played, but it means like a red light, green light from like a stoplight, and I'm like, oh my god, so disappointing. And I didn't watch it all in one sitting. I had it on the background, and it's not just him. Some other self-help people talk, and I had to premise this with, I'm not a self-help person. I understand that it's very helpful for other people to watch some common sense stuff from a certain personality, and I do respect that. We all need a common sense reminder from time to time, and if you find inspiration from a person, that's great.
Mhm.
But I'm already not that kind of gal. Like it's not for me. Like if you tell me to do something, I'm gonna do the opposite. Because I'm
Such
a
a
bitch.
rebel.
I am not. I'm just stupid. Uh I accept advice from people that know me very well and kind of know what's best for me, but like some random slit. And to be fair, because somebody sent me a message, somebody that's a fan of ours in our Discord, but I know isn't here
Mhm.
tonight for certain reasons. Uh, that they're like, how pretentious an actor does this, and I'm like, well, to be fair, I rather watch Matthew McConaughey from the comfort of my own home streaming telling me advice about life or whatever than dying of heat exhaustion with a guy that wrote The Secret. So like I think that's like I don't think it's so bad. So I'm not judging,
That is
get your
like, the most interesting comparison I've ever heard.
like,
Like, where
so,
did that come
Matthew
from? Like,
McConaughey, well, it's just a good comparison. Like, people always like, ooh,
I
actors, what do
would
they know?
rather listen to an actor tell me about, like, life lessons and from their place of privilege than, heat exhaustion.
Well, that's dying of heat exhaustion. Okay.
Like, yeah, sure,
Uh,
same. Like, maybe.
and
I mean, I'll
I
drink
don't just
water. I'll be okay.
nothing, nothing against. They tried. It's sad. Nothing against Matthew McConaughey. I think he's still a good actor. Like, this is not me dissing him. It seems like he got paid a certain amount of money to do this, and good for him. Get your bag. But the metaphors he
Fair, that's
made were
working. I
like
mean, that's his
red
job.
light, red light, green light, yellow light situations in life. I'm like, oh my god, I could never have sex with you.
Okay.
I thought I might be
Yeah.
able to, but I could never because I
He's
cannot
such
have
a
sex.
beach guy, like, right? Like, the epitome?
Yes, he's a beach bum, and in a good
Yeah.
way. He was arrested for playing bongos naked on a beach once,
Yeah,
literally.
like, he
Uh,
would be so fun, I think, but no, I don't look to those people who are like that for, like, life advice. I don't look
it's
to
not that
anybody
bad.
privileged for life advice, to be honest. I
I just
just
had to say, I
Google.
thought like maybe like in a imaginary world, because I don't know Matthew McConaughey, obviously, where like I had a chance with him, I'd be like, well, maybe I could see it. I could see it. But then I watched his self-help thing where he made a metaphor about red light situations in life and green light situations in life. And then
But,
those,
Emma, you can
oh,
fix him. You can make him
no, I
better.
can't. No, I can't. I don't want to. Yellow light situations in life is like I cannot ever have any kind of physical contact with someone that uses the metaphor for red light, green light,
I
go. I
mean,
cannot
I don't
ever
know.
do it.
I feel like
No.
Matthew McConaughey, like, the sex would be so good. I bet it's amazing. Like,
Maybe.
I believe it. Like, the dude is free. He's tried some shit. He's experimented. He's explored. All right. So I might listen to anything he says because
You're
might
like, you know what? Red
he
light,
might
green
put me in a
light, that's great,
stupor for,
baby.
like, all night and just continue to tell me about his life advice, and I'm just thinking, like, "Man, is my body gonna recover?" Like, and that's all that matters.
I kind of
Like
agree. But still, he has like a red mark against him with me because I'm a snob of like the red light, green light, yellow light
Yeah, he's gotta
metaphor.
earn his
Ugh.
he's gotta earn his way out of that hole, huh?
He does, and he'd have to try really hard because I resist it
Friends with
quite much.
benefits, right? We'll party. We'll
Not
see how
even
it goes.
that.
I don't have to
He has
listen
to
to
do
you.
a
Just
lot
gotta
to get over
uh-huh,
that. He had to like show me something that is impressive that I'm going to enjoy very much.
uh-huh.
Like a lot, like guaranteed for me
Uh,
to go there.
Spooky Robin asks, "Have you seen Lover's Lane?" She's in that 1990s,
I haven't seen it.
1999. I have not seen it either. Nope. Sorry. What's your next question though? You had one ready.
Oh no, I have a few ready.
Yeah,
Um
bring it.
uh well, do you want a dirty one or a regular one?
I don't care. What do you think?
Well, let's do a regular one since we talked about sex with Matthew McConaughey for a while.
That wasn't long enough.
Now,
All right, come on.
he'd have to
Give me a break.
totally earn it with me now because
Test
being
drive.
bad at metaphors, oof, I can't. I have read certain actors' books where they're very good at metaphors and they can do anything to me. But anyway, would you do another Stranger Things episode for season 5?
Yes, I would. I would
We would.
love to.
I think we probably would specify it since we did a very wide range episode for
Yeah, we did the
Things
whole shebang before for what, 5? Was it 5?
for 4.
For 4.
And I think that
Before
what we would
5,
do,
right? Isn't the
5 is
next season? I thought the next season was 6. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think it's 5.
Yes. I would I would prefer to do like a recap together.
We
of
do a
these
recap and
seasons.
maybe we could talk more about the monsters and
Yeah.
and since we didn't do
And
spoilers,
prediction.
yeah, because we didn't do, and we also didn't do. It was so
Spoiler free.
recent,
Yeah.
spoiler free for season 4. We could talk more about season 4
Yeah.
and Jamie Bauer and everything
We'll
like
have
that.
predictions and news by then too, leaked photos, stuff to talk about. So yeah, I would love to. I would love to talk more about 4 and do a prediction video and like recap, get everybody caught up to what has happened right before, up to that point, catch everyone up.
So let me get a
Fucking
question
Netflix
out of the
recap.
way. I know who asked this question because they sent me a very long message about this on Instagram. And
Oh.
it's a person that talks to all of us quite often. And I'm not going to say who they are because they sent this question anonymous. There's nothing wrong
And I
with
love
this
you. We love
We
it when you guys
love
talk to us.
all of you.
We love your messages.
We do. And I could be wrong, although unlikely because it's very similar to the message I got.
Let's
So
hear it.
I assume it's addressed to me, but we can also assume it's addressed to Justine.
All of us.
What the fuck do you see in Ethan Hawke? It must be his looks. He can't act. And Justine is right. He doesn't talk like a normal person. Out of touch celebrity. This person I know, for clue, this person isn't watching right now because of time zones. So I think, Justine, you might know who this is sent
Yeah,
by.
I know.
And they might reveal themselves in our Discord later.
Oh, I love this.
But right now
question.
I won't. Justine, why don't you answer this question first?
Okay, so well, to be fair, I think Ethan Hawke is very attractive, and I think he's a very intelligent man. I just think he talks like someone who is very intelligent and attractive, who gets a lot of really great roles and has like no problems. Like,
what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that is how he sounds. So sometimes that will come off to people as pretentious and out of touch. It just happens naturally because he is out of touch. I'm sorry, but you live in a world that not very many people live in. Okay? Like,
well, I don't know
it's
Ethan Hawke,
true.
so I can't say that's not true.
But I think he's very talented and attractive, and he's very good at his job, which is why he gets those roles. I don't think it's for naught. Like, I don't think he's like not a hard worker and that he's legitimately out of touch. I think that he's so in tune with his characters that that's not possible. He has to be somewhat in touch. But I think the way he talks sometimes can come off as out of touch. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, when I watched him in interviews, I never got why you thought he was out of touch because you said he doesn't talk like a normal person. And I'm like, he does talk like a normal person to me. I don't know. But I'm pretentious and out of touch in a certain way, even though.
And I like people like that. I like having conversations with people like that. So it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it can be. It can be to
But
some
I
people.
haven't been famous since I was 13. I've been white trash for quite some time. So
Right. We're white trash. We're not out of touch.
proud of it. Proud of
We're dirty.
We're dirty. But but the thing is, when and this is not actually, weirdly enough, and it's weird, and I'm not judging people. This is not the only message I've gotten from somebody trashing Ethan Hawke. To me specifically, and the way I think about it is,
Don't yell people's
uh,
yum, guys. Don't do that.
well, the
Don't do
thing is,
that.
well, you can. It's just like, and it kind of translates into other things as well, in the sense that you don't have to like the same artist I do. You don't have to be into the same artist I do. You don't
Mhm.
need to like come to me and tell me they're shitty. That's fine. You think they're shitty. I don't care. It's not my business. I think he's a great artist. I saw him on stage in Austin, and he was very insightful. I mean, again, I don't know
Mhm.
him. Maybe he's super out of touch and doesn't know what real people do. I don't know. But he is really hot.
There's
But that aside,
there's
uh,
there's a courtesy approach to things, though. That's what I mean by don't yuck someone's yum. Like, if you wanna have a discussion about, like, not seeing what they see, that's fine. Say, "Hey, what do you see in Ethan Hawke? Because I don't get it. Like, what is it?" But then to turn around and say that they're trash, they don't perform, it's
it
okay.
must
That's
be
your
his
opinion.
looks.
It's okay. That's your opinion. But maybe if you're going to ask, wait for the answer before you assume you know the answer. Just a tip, you guys. When you guys ask questions of anybody, that's what I try to do too. I try not to like come at it from a place of negativity, but a place of interest and information seeking. Um, and it's a little bit more
But
positive.
for me, it's I feel
And
like
then I'll
you're
trash it on our
allowed
podcast.
to. Yeah, you're allowed to not like an artist, actor, or whatever. I don't mind. Like, you don't have to like the same movies I do. I'm fine with it. You don't have to challenge me on it. I
Uh-huh.
think he's a great actor.
That's my job.
And and he has talents and is good looking, but
Mhm,
you don't have
mhm.
to. It's totally fine. I'm not upset by it.
No,
But also I don't want to have to explain it to you. Like, you're allowed to just not like him. I just prefer that. Like, I'm not going to explain to you why I like
I
him.
like to badger you into explanations because I like to make fun of you and yuck your yum.
I know,
That
and
is
I love when
my
you do.
job.
I
That is
secretly
my
love when I
job,
do.
okay? Don't
So
take my
there's
job from
a
me.
So there's an adjacent question to this. Let me find it. That is not asked by the same person, I assume, but it's kind of part of the same conversation. And I assume it was directed towards me because I made a video about it, but we're gonna treat it like it's directed towards everybody.
Okay.
You'll have an opinion about it, I swear.
I have
I
an
just
opinion about everything. Do
Me
we
too.
know who we are?
Yeah, that's why we do what we do.
Hi, bearded gamer
Okay.
Brian. Welcome.
Oh, hello. And the bearded gamer Brian. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for joining us. So, a question that
Everybody
was
join our Discord.
posed is, what's your problem with Johnny Depp? And I assume that's directed towards me because I always say you. Except for when we had a guest, I restrained my ew. Um,
I do have an opinion on this.
Please go first.
I I think man, this is gonna be really tough. I think what happened with him recently in the public space changed things not necessarily for the better, and I think this is a tough one to explain.
It is.
I
It's a lot of
think
layers,
that
actually.
it's unfortunate that people in the public sometimes have to put their everything in the public. But there's times I think that it shouldn't be, and perhaps it's better because you are showing that you care about, like, you're showing empathy about everyone involved. And I don't think anybody in that situation took any moment to have some empathy for each other
That
and
trial should
showed their
never have been aired.
narcissism. Yeah. So to me, it didn't put anybody in a good light. I don't think anybody looked good in that trial. I think everybody looked bad. But it also set a precedence that can be very scary, I think, as a woman for what that could lead to in the future, especially in the entertainment industry, and what it may allow for something that we are finally getting some ground on. So, that's my opinion. As far as Johnny Depp, I don't personally know him, but after that trial, I do have an ick. I do have some ick from him. Um, a lot came out in that trial about both of them, and I really do have an ick on him now because he did not need to make that public like he did.
That whole trial, I assume both of them were asked permission. I hope so. It should never have been public. So let me talk about my ick relating to the trial, and then my ick not relating to that because I'm a
Yeah.
snob, of course.
Yeah, I have an ick not relating to it also, but yeah.
So with a trial, which is not necessarily Johnny Depp's fault necessarily, but whenever I say ew, like I don't even go into detail. I'll just say ew to Johnny Depp or what have you. They'll be like, "Oh, so you're," because men don't get it. I shouldn't say it. Not there's specific men that don't understand it, and women too.
Sorry.
Because we all have a certain level of internalized misogyny. And that the thing about
we
that,
have an internalized need to pick a side for things too.
that's true. And so the thing about it is that like, so you're an Amber Heard fan. I'm like, you don't get what I'm talking about. There's a lot about it that is the
nuanced.
myth of the perfect victim. So the
Mhm.
idea that for a woman to be a victim of domestic violence or what have you, she has to be almost perfect. Like she's never lied, she's never cheated, she's never
And
hit
the reverse
back.
is true.
And the verse
Like,
is true.
yeah.
And
And that's the
so
precedent
there's a
I'm
lot of
talking
layers.
about. Yeah, exactly.
And so it's not me being an Amber Heard fan. And also it was very disheartening at the time because it was everywhere. There were so many men ready to trash Amber Heard or anybody that's said anything slightly negative about Johnny Depp at that time when the trial came out was like a little over a year ago. It was like depressing. It's like men that usually
I was trashing
never
both of them. I was on both camps to trash. I was like, trash that one. Fuck them both. Like,
but there were a lot of people and of all genders in that felt that like Amber Heard is this wicked bitch and Johnny Depp did nothing wrong. He's a total victim. And standing up for Johnny Depp and totally trashing Amber Heard. And it's like, oh, so if I ever experience domestic violence, I have to be a perfect person. Okay. It looks like it's just like people that usually don't care about domestic violence are coming out of the woodwork to support Johnny Depp. And so separate
and
from
to use that against other people who just happen to be associated with some of these people. Like the way that they were tying it to Marilyn Manson, because he's friends with Marilyn Manson and she's friends with God, what is her name? It just left my brain. Westworld 13. What is her name?
I know who, because people tell me I look like her sometimes.
Yeah, oh yeah, you do. Oh yeah.
Stop it. Evan Rachel Woods.
Yeah, Evan Rachel Wood. So they were associating Amber with Evan Rachel Wood because they had been friends and worked on Me Too movement, organized stuff together, and had conversated about their traumas with each other. And then on top of that, you had Marilyn Manson was friends with Johnny Depp. So there was like, it created this camping thing, like as if you're just guilty by association now, depending on whose camp you were on. And it's like,
To be fair, there are texts of them talking about let's make our own 120 Days of Sodom, which I talked about before, which I don't think that
is why that kind of talk. But that is where my other icks come from with Johnny Depp. That's not the first time that type of conversation has come out about him. But we've accepted locker room talk as a society up until a certain point where now if that stuff comes out again, now we're like, ugh.
Well,
Gross.
locker room talk is different as like, I'm gonna bang that hot chick who's
Oh
with us
yeah.
at our favorite spar, and then
Whoa,
let's
yeah,
create
no,
our own
that was
torture
me saying
chamber.
locker room talk, like the way people
Mm,
always called it locker room talk.
mhm.
It's not. It's disgusting and it's not funny. Like it's just not funny. And that kind of stuff isn't accepted anymore. And I think a lot of that stuff came out a long time ago on a lot of actors and then people forgot about it. But then it comes back into the light today and then they pay for it. They're going to pay for it.
Like Brenner
And
is a pretty shitty person, but I don't want to get into that. But
they're doing it with Carl, what's his face right now from the Met Gala. Like
what? Who?
Carl, Jesus, my names are just gone for me right now.
But
Chanel, the
so
designer.
I used to be, as a teenager and then nostalgically as an adult, a huge Marilyn Manson fan.
Me
And
too.
before things came out about how he treats women, I have a friend that runs a not super famous but like very successful music magazine, and he has certain friends. So I kind of was learning slowly, especially after he let out that shitty album after Golden Age of the Grotesque. So a shitty album, whatever, I can live with that. But I think it was called The High End of Low or whatever. That's when he was dating Evan Rachel Wood, and
Carl
which
Lagerfeld. Thank you.
is irrelevant. But so I learned he was kind of just a shitty guy through a lot of
Mhm.
things, and how Daisy Borokovich was suing him for the rights to a lot of the songs, saying I wrote pretty much all of the songs off Antichrist Superstar, which is like the best album that Marilyn Manson has put out. And I could deal with that and still listen to music and fine. But it's the only time I've not, when it came out about all the women, and I people will say to me, but it's been disproven. I don't care. He's definitely a toxic person, and I can't listen to him anymore. That's
Who
the
said it
only
was
artist.
disproven?
Lots of young men on my comment section. I am not
Oh
kidding.
yeah, nothing has
Uh,
been disproven. So whoever's saying that, you're wrong.
but anyway, it's
It's been
enough
settled out of court.
negativity.
There's a big difference. Like,
Yeah, so that's the only time, because there's a lot of artists that have done problematic things. And Marilyn
there are.
Manson, who I was an enormous fan of his music, enormous.
Yeah.
Like it was a big part of me growing up and as a teenager. And I'll probably get over it, and I own all the music already anyway. So I don't have to, and if I
Yeah.
didn't have something, I buy it used. But it's just a thing that I don't, it's the only time I've just totally shut off to engaging with any of his art at all and not
Same.
listen to him.
I do that very rarely. There's very few things that I do that for. And Marilyn Manson is one of them. He is blocked on like my Spotify, so his songs just will not come up on anything.
Oh, you can
Um,
block artists on Spotify? I didn't know
you
that.
can, yeah, you can block artists so
Nice.
that like they don't come up on like autoplay when it starts kicking up like recommended and stuff. They won't come up on that. So he's one of those for me. I've blocked him. There's a few of them actually. I guess now that I think about it, I have a couple, but like R. Kelly is one. I'm never gonna listen to anything by R. Kelly. I don't have a problem doing that. There are so many artists out there and so much music out there, so many movies that I don't need to watch Jeepers Creepers. I don't need to listen to Marilyn Manson. I can fill my life with other music. But when I was listening to it, there is a nostalgia that I no longer have because I don't hear that song anymore. And I will not think of those moments of my childhood when I would listen to Marilyn Manson at like some basement sneaking my friend's parents Black Velvet. Like,
Mhm.
the and we're listening to Marilyn Manson. Like those memories are no longer tied to that song for me. I can't like hear it and think of those times because I'm not going to hear that song.
And
Anywho,
again, I had already not thought of him as a great guy at that point anyway. And I didn't have a crush on him. He was a little too unconventional even for me. But
Spooky Robin said, "Can we table this soon or I'm pressing the mute button?" By all means, mute.
yeah. So so El Chupacabra mentioned
Answering the
Joss
question.
Whedon, and I have listened to, I have watched a lot of Buffy more than I've realized, but I still listen because I own it. to it's one of my favorite Joss Whedon projects is Dr. Horrible's sing along blog.
His
Uh
name's right here next to my head.
and
It's a little bit more difficult with those types of creators.
And well, it's more difficult for me with Marilyn Manson because he was such a big part of my childhood and growing up. And I don't agree with anything that Joss Whedon has done against women, against in his personal life and in general, especially pretending to be this ultra feminist. But I can still listen to Dr. Horrible's sing along blog. Like that's okay for me because I already own it. Like it's not going like views and listens aren't going to Joss Whedon. And
Yeah.
also it's I don't know why, but for me, for whatever reason, I still feel okay listening to it.
I don't like Joss Whedon, but
Oh,
I
I don't
like the people
either.
he keeps working with and the shit that they keep making. I do like that stuff. I don't like Joss Whedon. I think he's a dick, but people keep working with him. So cool. Great. Um,
I think that's probably the worst thing that I think when it comes to Joss Whedon, a lot of that comes to that there's certain obviously the physical things he's done are worse, but the hypocrisy of him acting like he's such a big feminist and
yeah.
then not being the exact opposite. And
Mhm.
obviously there are worse men than him, but that doesn't make it okay. You know what I mean?
What's our
But
next
again,
question? Is it
I was
lighter?
yes. Oh, I have a lot of light questions.
Let's do a
Here we go.
light one after this.
All right. One moment.
I'm already in a man-hating mood, guys. We don't need to press that button any further.
I'm not. I'm listening to Wicked Game. I'm listening to Wicked Game by Chris Isaac and having sex on the beach. That's me. Not with anyone specific, but in general, it's just like in the mood.
Press the
Um,
button.
I was actually listening to Dr. Horrible's sing along blog yesterday.
I love you, Sydney
Uh,
Prescott. I'm so glad you're back. You missed
Hello.
it earlier. I was like, I know Sydney Prescott would have said, "Why choose?" to my ghost face thing earlier. You missed it. I had to pick my hottest ghost face, so I went with Mickey, and I was like, "But it could be Billy, it could be Stu. Just ask me on a different day." And then I thought, you know what? All three. Why choose?
Here's a great lighter question. Hottest werewolf question mark. And I'll let Christine go first. I
Wait,
have to
and
think about it.
wait a second. This has I need some filters. So
What?
hottest werewolf, like in werewolf form, or hottest
It
werewolf?
just says hottest werewolf question
Okay,
mark. So I
because Hugh
cannot give you
Jackman's werewolf is the sexiest werewolf. I mean, is there even
what he was a
question?
werewolf? When?
Van Helsing.
Oh, what did I thought he was Val
Do you
Helsing in
remember he
that?
changes and his hair is like, and he like comes out and he's
No,
like,
because I had my
"Ugh."
first very awkward date in high school to that film during the
Wait,
day.
think
So
of the
I
same
have not
thing. Wait,
seen
in
it
werewolf
since.
form or out of? Exactly. That is an important question. Like,
I think it means I would assume I don't know what the question asker unless they're here and want to specify. I would say accumulatively, like in human form and also in werewolf form. And I had to think about
okay,
this.
so in human form, hottest werewolf. I'm gonna go with Klaus Michelson from the originals, or
I don't
or
even know that.
Joe Magliano from True Blood. God,
I
they're
don't even know that
yummy.
either. Oh my god. So I thought a
Or
good answer though.
okay,
No, go ahead.
no.
Oh, you want to hear my
What's your good
answer?
answer?
Okay.
Yeah, because you probably have one, and I could probably list off 10 more.
All right, I have
Like,
one. So I find most men boring, and there's
mm,
only a few men, which a lot of you know who those men are because I've talked about them, who I find interesting, which means I find them attractive. But in this case, I am reminded oddly, also because I just watched the
I'm
last
still
of the
listening, but I
Before
gotta answer the
trilogy.
door real quick. I'm sorry. But
Okay,
I'm
that's
hearing
fine.
you. I'm hearing
All
it. I'm
right.
not missing it.
So a film I just can't stay away from. Oh, hello, the bearded gamer Brian. A film I can't stay away from. Because I'm diseased inside, and it's really weird. this actor is in this film at all, but is Julie Delpy from American Werewolf in Paris. She's just got that je ne sais quoi. And she also has, like, she's dealing with actors that are acting super goofy, super stupid. You know, a guy that has a sex with some girl and eats her on Jim Morrison's grave. There's a lot of bad CGI, and there's something still mysterious and sexy about her. I love Julie Delpy. I think she's amazing. Yeah, El Chupacabra, you get it. You get it. She makes the movie. I mean, I think there's a lot of that's a great question, Spooky Robin. I'll ask when Justine comes back. I think that there's a lot to the movie I like. Part of it is its stupidity. It came out before American Pie, but it feels like American Pie, but let's add some werewolves in Paris. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I love Julie Delpy. She's actually a great actress. She's also a great director and has directed her own films. And there's just something about her that I find super sexy.
Yeah, that's a good
Especially,
one.
she's the sexiest in American Werewolf in Paris.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I feel like what's tough is that like werewolves and vampires to me are just inherently sexy. Like,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I feel like they're always casting incredibly sexy people because even American Werewolf in London, I think he's so fucking hot. Like,
He's
such
cute.
a
I'll give you
charming
that.
and attractive man. But yeah,
naive.
trick or
He's
treat.
cute.
Trick or treat. Yes. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Treat. For sure, Anna Paquin.
The women in that are very hot. All the women are hot.
Yeah, totally. 100%. That one's super sexy. But yeah, it's hard for me to just choose one because I think a lot of them are just meant to be sexy. I'm gonna go with Klaus Michelson though, or Scott Speedman from Underworld. Oh, Michael Sheen, Rise of the Lycans. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Bill Nye, is he a vampire or werewolf?
Vampire. He's a vampire.
Okay, so he's a sexy vampire for me. I like Bill Nye.
He's dating Anna Wintour.
Who's that?
For the Met Gala. Anna Wintour. Vogue?
I don't know that stuff. I know that the Skinamarink phone was there, and that's about it.
It's just
I'm a redneck woman. I'm not no high class broad. I say, hey,
I know that song. I know that song.
It's oh my god, that was so popular. It's
hey,
one
of those.
Yeah, it's one of those pandering country songs, but it's still a bop, so you still listen to it.
She had a great voice.
She did.
All right. What's
Michael
the
Sheen
question?
put it down for MSG Cray in the closing telethon for their second Kickstarter campaign, so it gets my utmost respect.
I love him. I love Michael Sheen so much. Him and David Tennant are like, they're like these just sexy, sweet old men. I don't know how to explain
Michael
it.
Sheen, he's like, the one that most like his dad, Michael Douglas, right?
No.
Which one had the tiger blood? Which one is that?
Charlie Sheen. Okay. Unrelated. Completely unrelated.
No, they
Michael
are related.
Sheen,
I swear.
No, he's not. Michael Sheen is a British actor. Nothing to do with the
No, he isn't. Oh,
yes, he is.
Okay, who am I thinking about then?
Okay, so did you watch? Did you hear about Good Omens at all? The show Good Omens.
I know of the show.
So the two angels in that are David Tennant and Michael Sheen. In the Underworld series, the Lycan, the main like werewolf guy, is Michael Sheen. And in Twilight Saga, he is the leader of the Volturi.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that is. Okay, I don't know.
The guy that goes,
I still don't know.
Fight or whatever. Okay.
He sounds kind of like a Crispin Glover type then.
I mean, he was in that. I think Crispin Glover could have probably nailed that role too, actually. But no, he's very like, I don't know. He's just a good actor. He can do anything. He was in The Master with Lizzie Chaplin, the show about the like the OBGYN and sex studies. that they did?
I have never heard
Dr.
of that.
Masters. Clearly, I'm a fan. Okay,
All
'Cause
right,
I
we
can-
need Crystal
I'm
back.
rattling off
We need
everything he's in.
Crystal back.
Literally, if he is in anything, if Michael Sheen is in anything, I am watching it. I love him.
I feel like there's so many times where you guys are like, he's hot, and I'm like, what's he in?
I
You
actually
list a
think
bunch
you
of
would be
stuff.
into Michael Sheen. Of all the guys that I am super attracted to, this might be one we could share.
Oh my god, we actually have a question that's related to that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, is there an actor you all in caps think is sexy? I do. Crystal's not here, so but I do know one agreement we've both had, you and I, Justine, is Alan Rickman.
Yes,
Oh my. Oh.
I love Alan Rickman,
Ugh.
especially in Robin Hood.
Voice. For me, it's in Sense and Sensibility, where he's
Oh
tortured,
yeah,
emotional on a horse. Oh my god.
which is literally him with Robin Hood, except for a little bit more villainous.
And lighter. Well, he's not as villainous in Sensibility. He cares about
No, that's
her.
what I'm saying. He's like that same character, tortured and pathetic and like loving and.
I wouldn't use the word pathetic ever for Alan
Mhm.
Rickman. I fucking love him, and like there's like rarely I'm affected by a celebrity death, but I'm like, he's so hot, he should never die. Oh my god.
Mhm.
I'm very attracted to Alan Rickman. So I
He
think
popped
that's
up.
one.
Oh yeah, because he plays.
definitely.
That's right. When we did the vampire werewolf trivia, he was both a werewolf and a vampire in 2 famous franchises.
I feel like I know who he is, but I'm picturing probably the wrong person. I'm thinking of Michael Douglas. He looks similar to Michael Douglas, right?
No. Okay, so moving on. What's your next question? Favorite
All right.
witch?
Yes, that's what Robin had asked.
Robin Hood. Spooky Robin. Spooky Robin said favorite witch. Oof. Sarah?
From what?
The Craft?
From I thought there is a Sarah also in Hocus Pocus. So
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I really like Practical Magic.
it's a great movie. I love that
I love,
movie.
I love Sandra Bullock, especially, but I love their aunts. Their aunts.
Nicole
the
Kidman.
most. God, I love that movie so much. So them, that whole family would be. But like Spooky Witch. Yeah, the ants are goals. Totally goals. And I want to live in that house. I want that house. Man, that's tough.
So
I really like Nancy in The Craft too, of course. She's iconic.
So as I've said many times on this podcast, I am 100% on Team Hag.
Hag.
100%.
I knew you were gonna go with Hag.
100%. But I love pretty much every witch ever in any form
Yeah.
at any age. Witches are my favorite.
They speak to me.
And I don't mean warlocks. I mean, whatever. We can call them male witches or whatever. I don't care. Like on Bewitched, the TV show, my favorite witch is no. Obviously it's her mother.
Her mother. Yeah.
And she never pronounced the husband name right.
Eastwick. Such a good one, Sydney Prescott. Yes.
And Dora, yes, because and how she look, guys, my favorite witch is Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West, but obviously one of the most classic witches. But when it comes to Endora, I'm like, imagine your daughter Justine, Nordica. She's a witch. She has powers, right? And she decides to marry a mortal man, right? And that's fair. Totally cool. Whatever she wants.
I would judge her for it.
Respecting her choices. Then she doesn't want to ever use her powers, even for housework. It's like, excuse me? I'm not going to remember his name either. Durwood, Dagwood, whatever. Like, I would hate him forever. Like,
Me too.
why?
Me too.
Like, why? Okay,
Why are you limiting your super powerful, awesome wife? Dick.
I know, douchebag, Durwood. And it's like he's not. It's like he's very against the magic, but again, they try to make it her own choice. But it's like, look, I get not using magic for like extreme things and wanting to live a normal human life, whatever. I don't get it, but I respect it. But when it comes to housework, why not? It saves so much time. You could be doing anything else. Oh my God.
Like, honey, we could be doing anything else.
Anything else.
Like, don't you want my mental capacity to be like on other things, dumbass? Like,
Nah.
anyways, so they brought up
love her. She's
Salem
right here
from the OG
And Dora.
Sabrina, and I actually really liked the new series too. I loved the Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think
Can
they
I
did great with
have
that show.
an embarrassing confession?
Sure.
It's so stupid.
Okay. Now I'm getting
So-
excited.
No, don't. It's very disappointing as well.
No.
So from the original Sabrina series, I had a crush on the cat Salem at an age that was inappropriate to have a crush on a cat. So Salem Faberhagen or whatever. Oh my God.
I feel like we were kind of primed for that to happen though, because we had so many like Robin Hood, the animated Robin
Fox.
Hood,
Yeah, the fox. Yeah.
the fox. Yeah, and then you had Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat from Aristocats. I feel like Disney did that to us. It's Disney's fault. For shame on them. Like,
Okay, Sydney Prescott
They
says that is
immortalized-
100% fair enough, Emma. So you know what? It was not even. So to be fair, it was obviously an animatronic cat, which I don't know if that makes it better. I don't know. But I don't know. I was 12, okay, to be fair. Like I wasn't a child, so it's a little old, but I had a crush on that animatronic cat. I can't help it.
I had a crush on Binks and Hocus Pocus because I liked his voice. So
Yeah, but he turned into a little boy.
Ooh, I
Like
did
your
not think about. I
age,
had a
our-
different voice. Like, it's not the same. Like, that is not the same voice that came out of the cat. Not the same.
True.
Um,
And we were also younger than the boy that Binks
Which-
turned into in the end. When Hocus Pocus came out, we were younger than that.
yeah, we were like the younger sister's age. I think Thora Birch's age when it came out.
Yeah, we're about that. Yeah.
Okay, what's your next question, Emma?
All right.
We I think I can do like another 30 minutes, but I gotta scoot.
Cool. Someone said, so just quick, someone said, Emma, what happened to your Insta followers? I did a purge. I just have a lot of bots sometimes, and from every time to time, I just purge them and get rid of them. That's it. So I don't know if you want to answer this question. You can say no. I don't know who asked this question because this is not a question the app would ask me. What do each of you consider average penis size?
I don't know. I don't have a ruler in my vagina.
See, that's the thing. When we encounter a penis, okay, we're not like, unless it's oddly large or oddly
Well.
small. Well, no,
Last time I
unless it's
stuck a ruler in there, it was like, you know.
no. To be fair, like you could. It's whoever asked that question, who I ain't gonna assume is not here, but if you are, that's fine. It's just that you can look up the national average, but unless it's very very small, which I mean like 3 inches, you know, erect small, or very very big, like 8
I'm really bad
plus.
at measurements.
We're not measuring in our mind. I'm not anyway. Unless it's like unless it's like 8 plus, I'm not gonna notice it as very huge either. So I would say most of the time, whatever you're like, if you just know how to use it or know how to do other things, it's not gonna matter. I mean, most men I think the average penis size erect for Americans is like a little over 5. And again, could I like point out a little over 5 penis? Not really, because I don't really measure in my head. But the thing is that that's too short. Usually, unless you're let me get super into this.
No,
Actually,
let's not get super into this because I don't
no,
fucking know. I don't fucking care.
I do know. I
And
do know actually.
have a complex over it if you want.
Oh no, wait. So if you're ovulating, if we're which I don't keep track really, but if you're ovulating and use a certain position, even if your penis isn't really big,
You're gonna
which
hit
again
that
that puts a
cervix.
little bit on us, you're gonna have that cervix. So when it comes to the cervical orgasm, which is like the best one, because it actually hits the cranial nerves and releases something more so than
It
the
has
others
nothing
do.
to do with
Although
you, dude.
it has nothing to do with you, but anyway, well, to hit, let me get really personal actually, which is usually not my thing. So the most
Ooh.
times I had a cervical orgasm, which is my favorite. It was with my ex-wife. So you don't even have to have a penis to do it. So let me just say that.
Fact. Fact.
Fact. And that's all I got to say.
That's it.
So
That's
I
a great
mean,
way to end it. Let's move on to the next question.
yeah, I'm surprised you're uncomfortable by that.
I'm not uncomfortable. I have nothing to say to it. Like I said, I don't have a fucking ruler in my vagina. I don't care.
Like
As
again,
long as
you
you
really have
perform
to
and you get
have
me off and you're emotionally and physically present during the activity, you're gonna do fine. But if you just care about getting off and your penis size, you're probably gonna suck in bed anyways. So I don't care how big it is.
so yeah, me either. I mean, it's just like don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Just get to know your partner's body and you'll be fine.
That's
You don't have
that's
to
all that
be good
matters.
at
It's
it.
not
You
about
don't
your penis size. It's about your partner's body. What
and getting in
works.
tune with what each other likes. As long
Exactly.
as you do that, you're going to be fine. You don't have to be perfect the first time. Just, learn stuff. Anyway,
Communicate.
uh so someone asked, when will you do the Ouija board?
Oh, yeah! We should do that for our exorcism episode.
Ooh, we should. We should. Uh
It's right upstairs. We'll bring it down and we'll do it for the exorcism episode. I think that's a great
my
idea.
father can turn in his grave. Watch it happen.
And you guys can
Um,
see us, like, try to do the entire episode with demons talking to us.
or my dad, who's dead, and he'll just say, "Emma, you're wrong about everything you do," and I'm like, "Dad, you never
Freaky shit
forgave
starts
me."
happening in my little cave down here while we're talking
Yeah, you
about
can meet my
The
dad, Justine.
Exorcist.
He's just as annoying as me. So there you go. You'll enjoy it. Um, okay, what was the last movie that scared you?
Oh, that happened recently. I watched something and I was like, "Oh my god." Like, it was scary. What was that?
I can't remember the last thing. My memory's not good. It's never been. I gotta say, so for everyone, there's a lot of big horror fans and non-horror fans having opinions about Evil Dead Rise, and I will say, and again, I could be wrong. Scary is subjective. I think
Yeah.
for the average horror fan, it's not going to be necessarily scary. And again, I
It was
could be
good.
wrong.
That is the one. Thank you.
It's very good, but there are a lot of moments, and I don't want to give anything away. It's still out in theaters. There's a lot of moments where a character will be doing something, and us as the audience can see something happening in the background. A tension builds, and it's enough where it's not maybe not
It's
scary, but
effective
it
AF.
grabs you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really effective. So for me, it was Evil Dead Rise. I'm glad you brought that up because as soon as you said it, I was like, "Yep, I remember the exact moment." I said, "Man, I haven't felt like that in a while." And it was in the garage at the end, and I felt, "Whoa!" Like, and there were moments, and you know what? It's because I think they did such a great job with adding some body horror to this movie that it just was unsettling at times
Oh my
already.
god. The thing that we were joking about without giving it
Yeah,
away in the Discord, I'm like,
yeah,
I fucking
yeah.
love that so
I
fucking
fucking
much.
loved it so much. And it was so good. And there were so many moments that really got me. Like I was like, oh, like surprised me in a very positive way that startled me with a jump scare. Like, of course, jump scares make me scared. I think really good executed ones are like exciting. And Evil Dead Rise for me had a lot of really exciting jump scares and moments that I thought were executed classy AF.
I
But
think
yeah,
if you're an Evil Dead fan, you're gonna enjoy it. It might not be your
yeah.
favorite Evil Dead movie, but I think you'll enjoy it. So
Hmm.
Spooky Robin asked a question.
Yeah.
1 second. What movie made you laugh so
So
hard you
hard.
hurt yourself?
The
So
last one that did that for me was Game Night.
I haven't seen that.
That movie kills me. I love that movie so much.
So I watch a lot of movies that the best categorization you could give them are they're so bad they're good. But
Hmm.
again, when it comes to recent, which I'm gonna do because I know I'll leave a lot out otherwise, is recently with Hallucinations by the McBride brothers, who are Pennsylvania guys wearing tube socks, is it was the Velcro moment. Like it wasn't even a
Yeah.
horror moment, but there were so many little moments in that film. And it's a film made earnestly in a way, and so there's something adorable about it. And there's so many moments that made me laugh, but it kept my
Yeah.
attention as a film. Can I tell you it was a great film? No, but for a couple guys in Wisconsin just working with an SOV camera, there's something endearing about it. And that Velcro, like I almost died. I thought I was gonna
There's
die.
there's a few movies that I still laugh uncontrollably during that we just recently watched. I just rewatched Piranha 3D for like the 100th millionth time.
It's
I
almost
love
warm
that
enough for me
movie
to watch it.
and I crack up every single time I watch it. I think it's available right now for streaming, Emma, so don't miss your chance.
Oh,
Um,
where?
but
I'll look it
I
up. I have
don't
a
yeah, look it up. I think it's on like 3 different things right now. But, I love that, and we've talked about it in our animal attacks episode that I'm editing right now, to put out this week. Um, that movie cracks me up, and I there's certain scenes that I know are coming, and it's like I'm building up my laugh, and when they hit, I'm just like, "Yes." Like, it's so funny. The same thing happens with Army of Darkness. I will never not laugh my ass off watching that movie. I just have to. I have to laugh. It makes me
It
so
is
happy.
funny. It's very
And
funny. It has so many great moments.
Game Night is like that for me. Role Models is like that for me. The one that I think I laughed in theater, the last movie I saw in theater where I laughed out loud and couldn't control it was actually the what's that? Jesus. What is that movie with Taron Egerton and he's like a spy? He becomes a secret agent. Uh The Kingsman. The Kingsman, the very first Kingsman movie. The anal jokes in that movie were so unexpected. I had never seen that in, like, a big Hollywood production like that for them to make an anal joke so, like, nonchalantly that I busted out laughing in a quiet theater, and everybody looked at me like I was a pervert. Like, and it made me laugh. I was like, "Whoa, there's"
Well,
she
Chubby
said,
Cover
"You can put
mentioned
it in here." And I said, "Oh my god, that is so funny." And I laughed because I did not expect that kind of a joke in such a big production, like a mainstream film.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it killed me. That one made me but, like, uncontrollably laugh so hard that it was embarrassing in the moment. I laughed. So,
I think
yeah,
it's
that one.
cute. And Chubby Cover mentions I did every time I watched the OG Pink Panther films, and the first
Yeah.
one being A Shot in the Dark. I am a huge Clouseau fan, and I love those movies. I think my favorite one, it's kind of hard because they're all named weirdly in the sense like there's a series of them, but one's like the Return of the Pink Panther and one's the Revenge of the Pink Panther. I think this one is the Revenge of the Pink Panther, which is not a horror movie by any means, but Peter Sellers is trying to be like a cool, like suave guy. And he goes to this woman who knows that he's like in disguise, right? And he goes up to a woman who's like the jewel thief's wife, and she knows that he's Clouseau, but he doesn't know that because he's not very smart. And he's trying to play a Casanova, and he just like sits next to her and gets real low, and he's like, "Here's looking at you. kid, and I'm like, I just lose it every time. He's like, and she's like trying not to laugh, and it's so funny. I love all the Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers. They're hilarious. I love them every time. None of them are horror movies, but I love them
Yeah.
so fucking much. I do.
There's a movie from my childhood, well, my teenage years that used to be like a go-to like watch for me and my friends, and it was How High. We would watch that movie all the time because it was so funny to us. I love that movie. And I think that's scary movie for some people. Some people are like all about the scary
I
movie
haven't
franchise.
seen a lot of them, but I love Anna Faris so much.
I
So,
do.
like, how
Oh
bad
my
can I
God,
be?
House Bunny. You watched that the other day, right? I
Yo,
love that movie. That
I
movie
love that movie
cracks me
too.
up. It is so smart.
So I used to have it rated at like a half a star or 1 star because for some reason I had conflated it with the Girls Next Door, which was a reality
Oh,
show.
the one with the oh.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I'm dumb. But then when I watched it and I'm like, this movie is fucking genius. Natalie.
Natalie. Yeah.
Natalie. I don't know why Anna
Emma.
Faris isn't as popular as like Will Ferrell. She's so fucking funny, and Emma Stone is adorable and funny in that movie. It's just
Oh,
and it's
Easy A is another one that kills me every time I watch it. I cry
and
laughing.
both of
It's so
them
funny.
subvert tropes for that time. I mean, there are
Yeah.
stuff that is very early 2000s and thousands, like that was the idea that time. But generally it subverts tropes. And also, if you want to know what real early 2000s fashion, the House Bunny has it.
It does. It does. It nailed it. Like that is
It
exactly what
nailed
we
it
dressed
because it came
like.
out that time.
Yeah. I remember dressing just like that when that movie came out. Like that is the most relatable early 2000s clothes. I
And
literally
it's like
can tell you
sexy
how many
girl.
outfits in that movie that I owned in high school.
So many. It's like
Yeah.
sexy girl and modest girl. All the outfits in that
All of
are
them.
like,
All of
or
them.
the preppy girl with the like little polo
The goth,
shirt.
like the
All of
emo
them.
girl, all of them are in there.
All of them.
They're all
All of them are
represented.
there. If you want to be
Yeah.
super accurate, early 2000s girl clothing, then you watch The House Bunny.
Yep.
She's so good at that. I think Anna Faris is a national treasure, and Chris Pratt's an idiot for ever leaving her. But she's too good for him anyway. So good. She's too good for
100%.
him. 100%.
He turned into a weirdo. I still like his
Yeah.
movies, though. I still think he's
He's
funny.
fun in movies, and you know
Yeah.
I don't
He's
have
good
to
at
think.
what he
I don't.
does. He's good at what he does. I just don't like him. I don't think. I
And
don't know.
he's not bad enough where I can't watch him in movies and I can enjoy
Yeah.
his characters. So it's like it's one of those things you find your own balance with people that have. See,
Yeah.
the problem with the word problematic is whenever someone says problematic and don't explain it, I'm like, okay, did they say women be shopping like 10 years ago on Twitter? Or have they like assaulted someone? Because I don't know. I have to look it up now. It's like
Yeah. And we've had this discussion about Chris Pratt before, so we don't really need to dive into
we
it again.
have. I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
we have. Because I think I said something along the lines of, I haven't found anything that's overly like bad about him, but my beliefs and ideals and priorities do not align with his, that I know I would never like him in person. So that's enough for me. Like to be like, yeah, I wouldn't like him, but I like his acting. If he were to do something overtly like disgusting with those ideals and beliefs, I would have a reason to dislike him.
Who's he
But
married
he
to
hasn't.
now? It's another famous actress, right?
No, a famous actress and model's child. It's Schwarzenegger's daughter.
What? Crazy.
Yeah. What is her name?
Any-
Amanda Schwarzenegger? I don't know, something like that. He lives here in Washington.
Oh, wow. Chris Pratt does?
Yeah.
Oh. No one lives in New Hampshire. They move
It's
away.
got like a farm up here.
There's another question. I have a few. We can end it anytime. But will you start interviewing celebrities? And I think we might have different opinions about that. But so my opinion on that is yeah, maybe. But the thing is, when we ever have a guest on, we ask them a few questions in the beginning. But what we really want to talk about, not that they aren't cool and important, they are. But when it really comes down to it, we really want to talk about the movies. So if we did start interviewing celebrities or minor celebrities, major celebrities, whatever it is, is that we probably would ask them, do you want to talk about your film specifically? And then we can do a whole episode where we talk to them about their films, whatever, or they
Like
might
a
be more
craft, like
into
a
doing
cinematography episode.
and I know our friend who's been a guest on our podcast, like sometimes she'll do when she gets books in the freezer. When she gets authors on her podcast, they won't even talk about the books they've written. They just pick a topic they find interesting in horror
Yeah.
fiction and talk about it. And I'd be more interested in doing that. Obviously, if we had somebody like that we all love, like Mike Flanagan on the podcast, is that like I wouldn't want to just like drip him in all our compliments because we could easily do that. But we would
That
I would
is
a- we would,
the one celebrity of mine that I think I would turn into a puddle in front of.
fair enough. He's very talented, and his wife
I would know what
also.
to do.
And I am stupid. I don't get like shy around anybody. Like it's stupid. But
Same, that's what I'm saying. He'd be the only one I think that could get me that way. I'm just so fascinated by his brain. I would want to like ask him a million questions about like his thought process, his methodologies. So it depends. I think I agree with you, Emma. I think it depends on the person that we get, how we get them, for how long. If we only have them for like 15 minutes, we would have a scripted set of questions and we would just ask them those questions.
and we
And then
send
talk
it to them
about them as they
beforehand.
talk
Yeah.
about, yeah. If we had them for longer, like our normal episodes, and it was free form, and we got to just do what we usually do, I would love to talk to them about their previous work and experiences on those sets, the stuff that they have insight on that we don't as viewers, to the creation of that art. That would be something I would be interested in.
And again, it depends on the artist because some artists
It
might be
does.
more interested, and we don't know because we don't know any of these people personally. Is that
Yeah.
some might be more interested in talking about their work in a certain frame, and getting to promote that work, and that's totally cool too. But some of them might just want to talk about, oh my god, like my one of them might just say, I would love to talk about films inspired by the Twilight Zone, and we'd be like, great. Or
Fantastic.
whatever, what have you, you know?
Right. And we would treat them
And
like any other guest in that case.
yeah, because some would be more into that. So it definitely depends on the guest. Right now, we're not emailing anybody's agents or anything as such. Not that we don't plan
No.
on doing it in the future, but right now we're just kind of doing what we do. And but eventually, yeah, we do have an interesting prospect that is not celebrity, but maybe in very independent small filmmaker. But we'll get into that later. Because we do like to platform independent creators. And
Yes.
this other question is favorite Blumhouse and favorite A24, which is a super hard question. Damn it.
For me, my favorite A24 horror.
It just said A24. It doesn't specify. Unless someone's here and they can specify if they want us to specify.
I'm gonna have to, hold on. Let me pull up A24 films so I can see, because I feel like I'm gonna forget one and hit myself for it.
So it's very close. I love all of the Ari Aster films. I
yeah.
love a lot of A24 films, but I think my favorite, and I'm a little bit, you know, a softie because I love this director so much, who did a great film with Matthew McConaughey. But this is not that film. It's Spring Breakers is probably the number one on my list.
I love that movie so much. That's so funny. Yeah, I love that one. I love that one a lot. I would say it's gonna be either Hereditary or X. I really like X. I don't know. I don't know if
really
there's
love Pearl.
I feel like I don't know if there's anybody who loves X as much as I do and has what like I really like X. I've watched it so many times just since it came out. It's becoming a comfort film for me. I really like it. So it might be Hereditary or X. But I'm going through them right now.
It's really hard for me to pick a favorite, but when it comes to director Harmony Korine, who's known very much so for he wrote the script for Kids, and Gumo, but he directed. Give me a moment. Bully, and he
There's a whole
directed.
bunch on there.
Actually directed Gumo. That's true. But he did Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey. He's kind of an eccentric figure, probably a little less so now. But with Spring Breakers, it's the combination of the very specific direction of Harmony Korine and Benoit Debie, who's a Belgian, like me. I'm not really Belgian. I've never been there, but my family is from there. Parts of my family, like a true American.
Yeah.
But Benoit Debie, who does the cinematography, which is very unusual for a Harmony Korine movie. It's so beautiful and crass and
Mhm.
dumb, and it's like the right amount of everything. And I'm
It
not a
is
James Franco fan,
Florida.
but like
It's
it's
Florida.
Florida. It captures Florida.
In the
Anybody that's been
perfect.
to Florida, beside like outside of Disney World, like that is Florida. Like Florida is its own universe in a way. It's
I love
so
it.
weird.
And it
I
feels
do-
almost
I
like
do
a
too.
fantasy, right? It feels like you're watching a fantasy of Florida, but no, that is Florida.
Yeah.
That is it.
Buy your t-shirt that says I don't trust anything that bleeds for 7 days out of the month, you know? Like you could easily in Florida, you know, easily.
Spring break. Spring
Forever.
break. Forever.
If there was ever an angel on this earth, our God and Queen Britney Spears. And then every time starts playing, which I love that song, non-ironically, I love that song.
I fucking love that movie so much. Oh my god,
I
I'm gonna
do
watch it after
too.
this. So this is actually one of the few things that me and Emma have like distinctly in common is our love of Spring
We
Break.
got so excited when I mentioned, oh my god, we gotta mention Spring Break. You were like, yes.
I remember
That
when it
Alan
came out,
Rickman.
everybody was like totally against it. They hated that movie. They thought it was
They're
so
like, what does that
stupid. And I'm
fucking
like,
mean?
what?
What does it fucking mean?
The
Like,
first
what do
time
you
I ever
mean?
felt like saying to someone like, you don't get it.
You get what I
felt like
go
I was
through.
in-
You
I
get what
felt
I
like
go
was on the
through.
inside joke on that one because I was like, I get this movie. This movie sung to me, man. So good.
You know what I feel sometimes now? Like,
hilarious.
I feel that, I mean, obviously, art is subjective. It's going to hit for some people and not. But it's one of those films I'm like, it's okay that you didn't get it.
Yeah. It's
The film
okay.
bro and
love
I
that
comes
movie.
in.
I do really like, there's a ton of A24 ones that I like. It's really hard to narrow down, to be honest, because I also love Ex Machina. I love, there's The Room. The Room was so good. It's hard to, Lady Bird, that's such a good one.
I
It's
haven't
hard
seen
to
that one,
pick
actually.
because their genres are all spanning, you know, and I like in fact, I think Lady Bird might be one of my favorite coming of age films. Green Room is on this list. I fucking love Green Room so much. Hereditary, like I said, but Ex Machina is one of my favorite. What is it called?
Science fiction?
No, it's like where they're talking specifically about like transcendence. And like the evolution of man and machine. It's not just sci-fi, but it's very specifically that. Like Ex Machina is one of my favorites that talks about
It's
that.
a great one. It's a great one. I also love when they're dancing in that too. Like, oh, it's Saturday night and I'm feeling all right. It's a good scene.
Yeah, it's good. But they also
but
have
what
like
about Blumhouse though?
Enemy. Oh, God, Blumhouse films. That's tough.
It's a
That's
great.
like
If the person that asked
freaking
that question
ton.
is here, a great question. If you're not and see this later, and you want to shout out, you can. It's a great question. So Blumhouse, that's a hard question. So I feel like technically one of their best films by far, and one of my favorites as well, like as it comes out in my brain first, is Get Out.
Get Out,
Is
yeah.
probably one of the best Blumhouse films. But when it comes to
Yeah.
films that are more associated with Blumhouse, it's hard to say because a lot of those
Ouija,
films I
Origin of
love
Evil.
equally. Directed by Mike Flanagan himself.
Yeah, a lot of Mike Flanagan films fall into this category. So it that is such a tough question.
But I
And The
like
Valley of
the
Violence is on this list.
oh my god, it's a Blumhouse film? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Mm.
Oh, oh.
It's not one of my favorites, to be fair. The dog is extremely cute. I
I
love
really
John
enjoyed it.
I liked it too. I liked John Travolta against Ethan Hawke. I thought that was great. I liked their dynamic.
Yeah.
But when I think of like Blumhouse, I love the original Paranormal Activity. I think it's very effective. I know a lot of people don't resonate with it, and I understand why. That's fair. But I do think the original it really resonates with me. But it's not my favorite. It's really hard to pick a favorite. I loved Megan. I
I
love the
loved Megan. I just rewatched that. Oh, I love it.
the
The Black Phone.
and the Black Phone. But again, with Blumhouse, a lot of their films are on the same level, so it's really hard to say one is my favorite. Obviously, Get Out stands out very much so.
Yeah. I'm thinking
But
anything Mike Flanagan did for them, and Get Out. Sinister is high up there for me. That one I really enjoyed. I know like a lot of people are weird about that one, but I
I
love
love
Sinister.
Crystal would be like, ew, ghost children.
Creepy
But
children.
I love Sinister. I think it actually
Yeah.
had for me some actually before they explained Bagul too much, which was fine. I don't have a problem with it, but once they explained him a lot, wasn't really scared anymore, even though it has a certain ending.
Yeah.
Is that I thought it would there was so many parts of it where he's like alone in his
And it's
office
scary.
and he's watching these films and there's just something invasive like it's crawling out of the TV and it's not Bagul, it's not the children, there's just something an
The way
eeriness
they
to it.
filmed it was really good. Like they made you the voyeur, and then they made you him in the like seat watching it. Like it was just really good way to like bring us all the way in and immerse us into what he was experiencing.
And the
That
mystery
movie just
too,
freaked
because we
me
want
out.
to know
Yeah.
what happens. I
Yeah.
think that that's probably I do think that Sinister is probably which I know a lot of very deep horror fans and they know more than I do and they have all these little niche things that I don't know about and they'll be like, "Can you believe?" And it's been two separate people that don't know each other and it's no offense to them. They're fine believing that. But they'll say to you, "Can you believe?" And this is me not even mentioning the movie. That they think that science proves that Sinister is the scariest movie ever. And I do agree that when
That
they say
movie scared the shit out of
science,
me when I first saw it.
me too. And I've watched a lot of horror movies. But does that
Yeah.
mean another person's watched a lot of horror movies and be scared by it? No, it's
Maybe not.
subjective. But the thing about it is that yes, I do agree. Science. They're just when I looked into it because I had to because I'm a nerd. Is like it's just recording heart rate
Yeah.
and your blood pressure, which
And
doesn't.
pupil response, right?
I don't think they measured that, but
No.
maybe they did. I'm not for sure. But basically, it could not necessarily mean the person's scared. Like it doesn't. But it's just like a clickbait title. But maybe not scared, but spooky. Like I was disturbed and spooked out by it. Like, look, I mean, a lot of people will bring up like these disturbing movies, like a Serbian film, Solo, 120 Days of Sodom, which I do think has a certain value to it, or Vomit Girl Gore Dolls, which look, I knew what I signed up for
These
when I
kind of
watched
things are
that.
subjective.
Yeah,
It depends on
but
who you're talking to and what they're considering in this
I
repertoire.
I prefer to be kind of spooked out, but like the
Yeah.
shadow in the corner of the eye in the night house,
Ugh.
or just seeing Bagul briefly in the bushes in
That
Sinister.
is the
Like that's
scariest part for me. That is the scariest scene in that movie for me. When he's like holding the picture up to the bushes and he moves it and the face is there that wasn't there until he put the picture up there and it had his face on it and then the face was there. Oh my god, that was so effective. Fucking scared me. When I tell you guys, Sinister was one of the first movies to like legitimately scare me in a long time, to the point where I was thinking about it in my room that night, like freaked.
I can hear Crystal being like, "Ugh, ghost
Yeah,
children, ew," and I miss her so much.
I do too.
Um, and she'll be back when she'll be back. We don't know when, but she is coming back. Everything's good. She's got a lot to deal with, but she's fine.
Yeah,
But the thing about so what year did Sinister come out? Like 2012 or something?
yeah, exactly. 2012.
Oh, look at me. I do have
Before
other
that was
questions.
Insidious, which I think a lot of people compare, like, put in the same league,
So I think the
as
problem
far
is
as
people
the
get them
type.
mixed up a lot, and I am one of those people, and I don't think it's because they're similar films. They are a little bit and came
I
out around
think
the
they
same
use
time.
similar
It's the
techniques.
title. It's the title, I think, because they're both like
Yeah.
simple titles. They're not like Sinister and Insidious are very different words, but they came out
Yeah.
around the same time, and they have a simple title, and they have a similar eeriness to them.
And they
Although I think
have
Sinister's
fantastic
spookier.
jump scares in both. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
And
The
so
Invisible Man remake was also Blumhouse, and I really liked
I
that one.
I saw their vision and what they were going for, and I admire it. But for me personally, I just didn't care for it that much. And I
Right.
really, and I'm not saying that to be diplomatic. It just literally, it just didn't reach me as well as I
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's again because I tend to like sci-fi a lot, and that felt very
It did.
sci-fi-esque,
It did.
futuristic, and I enjoyed that element a
Like
lot with it.
it was a lot like if Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk was your like husband or like serious boyfriend, and you wanted to escape him, and he somehow found a way to make himself invisible. That's how I saw it.
It's
Like
like the ex
he's
machina of Universal Monsters.
yes, it's like he's fucking insane and
Yeah.
weird and control. So, El Cabra, what's the important milestone that you wanted to mention? Let us know. I could have asked another question. We are gonna wrap up soon.
Wednesday is an important milestone for us. That is
Is
our
it our stream anniversary?
streamiversary. Yes.
We won't be. I have to. I'm having dinner with a couple people. I won't be able to live stream. I never have a social life, so let me brag, you guys. And it's not in a romantic
Oh, yeah,
sense. Don't. It's
Tomorrow's
not like
Wednesday. Tomorrow is our streamiversary.
mhm. Our stream anniversary,
1 year.
which and I'm so proud of us. And like again, we do this because we enjoy it. And sometimes we'll get tips from certain folks. And again, those tips aren't bad, but it's like we do this because we enjoy it and we do it the way we want to do it because we enjoy it. We're
Mm,
not looking to be more consumable.
anything, to be
Like
honest. Like,
because we know it wouldn't go that far to do it that way. So we figure
it
if the
wouldn't.
audience is there, and we have a great audience. It's not a
Me
huge
too.
audience, but it's fantastic. We love our heads of lettuce.
Mhm.
And we just really enjoy how we do things the way we do. And it's been really fun. I really enjoy it.
If you guys think about it, this is what I like the most about us. We pump out a lot of content as far as podcasting goes. Like the amount of shows we put out, episodes we put out in a year that we put out, that's a lot for most podcasts. And the reason we're able to do that is because we're not getting hung up on making sure that we fit a specific mold or we're a specific consumer streaming type. We're doing it because we love it and it's fun the way we're doing it now. And that's why we're able to put so much more content out there. We'll change things, like we might make the episodes two-parters and shorten them so that you guys can listen to the whole thing at once, and then like come back for part two and where it makes sense instead of cutting it off, because you want to only listen to a half hour. So we do understand that stuff and we are trying to adjust to some of those things. But the reason we do it is because we love it. So if we talk over and we talk for 2 hours, then we're gonna talk for 2 hours and we'll cut it up if we need to
We
into
usually
three
talk for
parts.
like 3 to 4.
We
It
do.
goes for
It
yeah.
goes for a
And I
long
love
time
that.
on our lives. And I do love it. I love it because I look forward to our lives because it's like I don't have like people that are this enthusiastic like you guys are, like the chat is. like Emma and Crystal are about horror and
Who else
our
is
love
gonna,
of it.
well, actually, that isn't just a dude being an
Yeah.
asshole?
Yeah.
You know, well,
That
actually,
that literally vibes as well as us three together and are like me and Emma have no problem interrupting each other, obviously. We
yeah,
like
it's totally
vibe.
fine.
We vibe. We're cool with it. It doesn't offend us, but that would not go over well with some people the way that we talk. And
Well,
that's
someone
fine.
asked a
But it works
question.
for us and we
I
love it.
can't find it, but it was kind of related to that in the sense that, yeah, you know, it was something about, do you ever feel like you have to lie about a film you like? I'm not gonna bother to look for it. But it's like, well, on the podcast, absolutely not. And that's part of what makes it interesting is we don't always like the same movies. Like, I love The Black Phone, and Crystal like hated it, and she hates Ghost Children, and that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, and we're in a safe environment, and we know each other enough where like we're not upset by that at all. Like, not at all.
Right.
And it's interesting
We
to
jokingly
hear.
do that sometimes. I think so. Don't take us seriously when I'm like, Emma. That's not real. If
If we
she doesn't
ever
like
had
something I
an
love, that's
issue, we
fine.
would address it personally, but that's never
Yeah,
happened.
we haven't had
Uh,
that. Yeah.
and well, it would. I can't imagine. As much as I love film and I love movies, I love horror movies. There's nothing like that is like hits like, oh my god, you didn't like it, I'm gonna fucking die and hate you forever. It
Just
never
the
comes to that.
Batman. Just the Batman for me, I guess. That was so funny to me. I never expected to be like that hard pressed for a movie.
Well, something that was funny to me is that somebody had asked me twice. I assume it's the same person. I think it's pretty safe to say, which is fine. It's a fine question that asked me like, "Why do you like Ethan Hawke?" Like, ew. And I'm like, "That's fine. You don't have to like him." And but then somebody else, I assume it's somebody else. A good chance it is like, "What's your problem with Johnny Depp?" And I'm just thinking, there's no accounting for taste, okay?
Yeah. Well, and like one of my favorite things about our podcast is how different the three of us are and how we are the same in other ways. So like there's things that we share together. Like I share things with you, Emma, that maybe Crystal doesn't like our creepy children we just talked about. We like it. We're down. We're down for Black
Down
Phone.
for
We're
Creepy
down for
Children.
Sinister. We're good for that. Then there's found footage. Not my thing. Not really my thing. There are some found footage I
Crystal
like.
and I love it, especially Crystal. She's our queen.
Yeah. So there's just different perspectives we're getting, and it takes us out of our go-tos and comfort zones and introduces us to things that I don't know if I ever would have watched if it wasn't because of you guys, like Blood Diner.
Oh, it's so good. I love how we all loved it too.
Loved Blood Diner. Never would have
So
thought to
crazy.
watch that movie on my own. I never would have watched it. But you had me watch it and I loved it. So like that's one of my favorite things about this. Ishtar. Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I like that about us. And I like that we get to tease and joke with each other, and we, like I said, we vibe really well. So we're able to like tease, and we know where it's okay. That we're not going to push it. So like when I tease you about how like I never watch the ones Emma picks because I know I'm not going to like them. And when I finally do, I didn't like it.
I love that I rewatch that I clip myself is you're like, I have never seen Easy Rider. I couldn't tell you what it's about. It's about a horse, and like my soul is crushing inside myself. Like I can't believe. And then you guys go into the whole Vespa thing, which is oh my god.
That was so funny.
It was very
that's
funny.
something like I feel like we noticed something about each other. We're really in tune with like each other so that we can like know when to dig in on something and really have fun with it. So it makes this really fun for us. I don't know.
Oh, and one other thing
what was the question?
that it's not related to this. It wasn't a question. It was like a part of a question that I asked. Because it was a long question. Nothing wrong with that. But
I've never had to lie. That's what it was. I've never had to lie about a movie on here. I have found things that I liked about a movie, and sometimes I had to look a little harder sometimes to find those things, but I'm not lying about them. So I will find things that are positive to say about something that I know somebody loves.
Well, they know, yeah, definitely, and that's what I agree. I think they meant generally, and I'll never lie and say, "Oh my god, me too. I love that movie," or lie and say I've seen a movie. If I haven't seen it, if someone loves it, they'd love to tell you about it, and I love to hear it.
You might
So,
catch me saying I've seen a movie or I haven't seen a movie and I have or I haven't because I mixed it up with another movie. Like,
yeah, like me and
that
the
has
host
happened to me
bunny.
yeah, that's happened to me so much, but, I will never
But
lie,
that's
not
not lying. That's
intentionally.
like
Yeah.
well, also, if it doesn't happen on this podcast because we kind of know each other well enough. But if
Mhm.
somebody I don't know very well is, I think the last time it happened, it was Green Book, which ew. But someone was mentioning about talking about Green Book, and I'm not gonna tell them that I think it's a shit movie and that I think it perpetuates the myth of like the magical black man that saves the white man and it's more about the white person. I'm not gonna say that. That's rude. Someone's not saying anything. They're not saying anything offensive. They're just saying, "Oh, I really connected with this and connected with that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's cool." Like, I'm not gonna like somebody I don't know very well. I'm not gonna offend them unless they're saying
Yeah.
something hateful, which rarely happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not going to go into all
I
like, you know
usually
what?
would just
Actually,
change
that
the
movie's shit.
subject. I mean, I'll be like you guys, I will always, yeah, I'm always going to be honest about how I feel about things. But I might be gentler depending on the audience and their level of appreciation for that thing because I don't want to be mean. And I think it can become very mean when you just trash something that someone loves. So
I hate
you
doing
just
that.
gotta be
I don't wanna
careful
be that person. Like, if somebody
because
loves
it becomes like
something.
insulting. Like you're insulting them at some point for liking that thing, and you don't want to do that to someone. But yeah,
It's the implication that, like, you're so dumb that you like that. Ew.
you made
When
me watch
so
that shit. Yeah, I will say that to Emma. Yeah,
yes, but that's fair because I can take it.
yeah.
And I know
I
you're
know my
wrong.
audience.
Uh,
And, like, I know my audience. Like it's okay. Like, and that's why we're here. So I can.
I love it. And now it's interesting. I can't wait to talk about because we've actually talked about Scott Derrickson's films quite a lot on here, and I'm not gonna say anything about it. Save it for the episode. But if I'm actually interested to talk about The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is a very different film for him, but
Yeah,
not at the same time. But
yeah.
the films that we usually think of with Scott Derrickson were also written by I can't remember his name at the moment because my brain is awful and turning off.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I know his name. Okay, he has long hair and a beard, and plays Warhammer's Garage. I can't name him though. But I don't know him personally. He just shows that on Instagram, obviously. But there's a writer that he worked with for Black Phone and Sinister that he didn't work with for The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and
Are you talking about
it
Joe
was
Hill
no
and then Cargill?
Cargill. That's him.
Yeah,
That's him.
yeah, Robert
So
Cargill.
and I don't again. There's so much I have to say about it, and not necessarily one way or the other, but again, we'll save it for the episode. I don't want to ruin it, but I had remembered that movie very differently, and when I rewatched it, I felt very differently about it in a certain way. Part
Same.
of that's the times. So we'll talk about it when we eventually do the episode. So
Yeah.
right now, Crystal's got a lot going on. Again, she's fine. She's got like this logistic things to do,
She's just
and we don't want.
moving, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, and it's just like obviously everyone knows how stressful that is. And so that's why like nobody's fighting. It has nothing to do with the podcast.
No.
Everything's fine. We would let you know if we had to take a long extended break
We
for
do
like a
another
deep
rebrand.
uh um
Come
I
on.
just
It's
get
been a year. We can laugh
it
now.
is I just need to get more guy friends.
Oh.
Like, what? I can't even believe it. Like my
Yeah.
brain
Look
exploded.
at how far we've come, you guys. It's been a year, and we've got a shit ton of episodes out. Contact, like
Yeah,
it's been
last
so
April
fucking
I
fun.
was like ready to throw my own shit at somebody. I so
I
crass.
was
I'm sorry.
too. we were very different mood a year ago. We were in a very different headspace a year ago when we had to kick this off and rebrand, and the way that the freaking way that we troughed through at the very beginning, I think is why we're so good together. Because we got put through the freaking coals, the fire, right at the
through the
start.
coals.
Like,
And
Right at the
I can do
start.
nothing but be grateful for it because you, me, and Crystal are just such a great team. We have similar opinions, different opinions, and we all get it. None of us are like
Yeah, we do.
butthurt about anything, and that's the bonus of having three of us is what, and it's gonna happen to all of us because we're gonna keep doing this podcast. We're not gonna have an official episode until Crystal's ready. But the thing about it is that all of us at one point or another is gonna have to take a break for whatever reason. Life happens, and it's just that. But that's a
But there's
bonus
three of
because
us.
there's two of us. Yeah.
Yeah, there's three of us. One of us can come on here and do this. Two of us can come on here and do this. One of us can run a trivia night with the chat. I mean, we could do movie nights. The Misty Nights are coming.
Yeah,
Misty
they
Night?
are.
When's
I'm
Misty
excited.
Night?
I
Did you
haven't
announce
picked
it yet?
the day yet. I haven't announced the specific day. I know that
Did you pick the one?
well, the thing is, the chat picked the one, and so did you.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Because our first episode that we put up as our podcast is now was Werewolves, and the chat also agreed they wanted to watch a movie called Werewolf or Warwolf, which would have been which is a great Mike Nelson episode. It's not my
I love it.
favorite.
Let's
but
do it soon,
it's
because then we can count it into our streamiversary. This is our streamiversary month. May.
I am planning on doing it. I haven't made it official. Not this weekend, but the weekend after, because most people voted for Saturday or Sunday in the evening. So it's probably going to be either a Saturday or Sunday a week from this weekend. I just have to go over my schedule, but I'm pretty sure. And we're going to watch Werewolf. Werewolf. That's so
for our
funny.
patrons. So you guys, if you want to join our Patreon, you're more than welcome to be a part of.
Well, the stream will be for everybody. I thought.
What? No, movie nights are for patrons.
Oh, but Misty Night should be not. Some of our Misties are not patrons. And I kind of want to a Misty Night. So because Misty Night it's very specific. It's not for everybody. So not everyone's gonna be into it. We can always change it. So I'm gonna keep Misty Night for everybody for now.
Yeah. So join our Discord if you guys want to be part of Misty Night. And then we'll have different movie nights.
For the trial period, and I'm gonna list this again when we have Misty Night.
They goddamn should be. That's right, Chupacabra. Tell them. Tell them. Preach.
But the thing is, I'm going to have it an option. Obviously, you don't have to, for everyone to have their camera and voice on for the first time, and we'll see how that goes. Because I don't expect there to be a lot of us. And I'm going to specify this again on the opening of Misty Night, is that for one night, if there's a member that's a little bit disruptive, if it's just one night, just let it go. But if it's somebody that comes every time and is disruptive, let me know. I'm not going to specify who it is. You don't have to specify who it is, but I don't want to call anybody out, so we'll just change it to just me.
You can call them out to me in my DMs, and I'll just mute them in the server.
No, we're not going to do that. Because some people just get excited. You know what I mean?
Why is she so nice, you guys? I don't get it. I
am nice.
Let me crack a whip, all right? Jesus.
Obviously, if someone says a bunch of slurs,
there's got to be some order.
Obviously, if someone says a bunch of slurs and it's just generally offensive for no reason, they're gonna get kicked out.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get kicked out of the server if that's the case, because those are
which is obvious. And I'm gonna specify the whole Gypsy character, who's the character named Gypsy. We'll get into that. I'm not going to crap the whip on as much. But the thing is, brethren, we're like the best. So basically, we're gonna keep it loose, and everyone can hang out as much or as little as they want for the first one. I will post when it's official
Shh, don't
time and
say
official day. What?
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 Nothing.
It's
Continue.
I'm gonna have my Crow and Tom Servo with me.
Sweet.
I will either wear my Mike Nelson or Joel Hodgson jumpsuit because I have both. One's red, one's blue. Obviously, Joel's red and Mike is blue. Obviously. Or I do have my Manos robe, but I'm saving that for our cult episode to wear my Manos robe. But so Werewolf is going to be the first one, and then
I
as
love cult movies so much. I'm watching a
I
bunch of them right
can't
now.
wait for you to watch Menace because you're gonna hate it. But I hate it too, but I love it at the same time. So the thing about it is that
See
if
what
you
she does
can't,
to me, you guys.
I'm awful. So
That's why I made you watch Doom.
I didn't have that much of a problem with Doom, but we'll get to
It's
that.
fun.
I didn't have that much of a problem with it, but we'll get to that when we get to that episode. I loved how so many people told me it sucks. I'm like, first of all, I didn't pick it. First of all,
Everybody shit on that movie the minute I picked it. Everybody shit on it, and I was like, "Look, I don't care. I fucking enjoy this movie. It's a guilty pleasure, and I love it. You're gonna either watch it or you're not." And people watched it, and they're like, "Oh, I forgot this movie's kind of fun. It's fucking fun. It is fun. Like,
it's okay.
fun."
But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But so Misty Night, I will let you guys know which day, Saturday or Sunday, a week from this coming weekend, is going to be and
Thank you,
what
Jim
time.
Carrey.
It's going to be in the evening. But each month I will do a poll for because people's schedules change, and I know not everybody's going to be available at the same time. So so next month, the second time we do MSG3K night, I will do a poll for what the best time is and kind of figure into what we did the last time. And I will do a poll for the next episode because I'm the boss of Mystery Science Theater Night. And
She is.
too much power. You guys, it was pretty clear. Everyone wanted werewolf, so we're gonna do werewolf for the first one, and the next one I'm probably gonna choose some pretty popular episodes. Probably some Space Mutiny. Hmm. Beef McLarge huge. Space Mutiny, which is so good. Which Justine, if you can make it, I think you would fucking love it.
I'm gonna try to make every Misty Night. It just depends on. It just depends on if yeah, I'm gonna try to make every single one. Even if I have my daughter, I can watch a movie with you guys.
I mean, they're all
laptop
kid
or something.
appropriate, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll want to watch on the laptop with me.
She'd be too bored. She'd be too bored.
She would.
But so my next options, they're not official yet.
Inappropriate. Okay? She went and saw Renfield with me. She picked that.
These movies are just. I think that she'll be bored because they're just old, you know, and just like nothing's happening.
Okay, first of all, you know what 2 of her favorite movies were last year, all of last year, that I had to watch over and over and
Santa
over
Jaws?
Again? Santa Jaws and Lamageddon. Lamageddon.
Like, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it.
She likes some weird shit, all right? It's okay.
What is a Misty Night? Is it a show? Yes, it's so Sidney Prescott. It's a show that ran primarily in the 90s called Mystery Science Theater 3000, and it was on the Comedy Channel, and then it was on Sci-Fi Channel when it was rebooted, and then they rebooted again a few years ago on Netflix with Jonah Ray, and we'll do Jonah episodes as well. But I have to say, so basically the premise is they do little skits in between the movie that are like parodying the movie, but while the movie is playing, you'll see the movie and there'll be these little silhouettes that is the characters, which is the guy that's trapped in space and the 2 robots.
You've probably seen clips or those silhouettes before somewhere.
It's been everywhere.
They're kind of iconic. It's like iconography at this point, yeah.
3 characters. So yeah, it's 3 main characters. There's other characters that are involved, but just a simple synopsis. So it's basically a comedy show, but also if you like older movies or cheesy movies. So I do recommend anybody that doesn't know Mystery Science Theater that you don't have to know anything about it to join an episode. There's nothing, it's not like that at all. You can join it if it's for you. that's awesome. If it's not, you can just log off. It's totally fine. So it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite shows of all time.
So it just so happens we have a lot of Misty fans in our patrons and our Discord. Emma is a Misty fan, so it just makes sense. What?
I'm insane about it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like it comes up probably every episode. So it just makes sense to do a Misty night. Just like you guys talk about wrestling in our Discord all the time. There's
it's
just
like-
certain things that are common amongst our group that we get to do, and I like that.
You're not
and
on
talk about.
drugs, Cindy Prescott. Optimisty. His name is Optimisty because it's like optimistic and Misty, which is Mystery Science, short for Mystery Science Theater fan. So it is connected. Optimisty could host a night sometime, but right now I'm the boss. So basically, probably my choices for the second night will be something like Mitchell, Catalina Caper, and Space Mutiny, and one of my all-time favorites, The Final Sacrifice. Is there beer on the sun? We'll find out. Someday my Rosdower will come for me. I'd love that one so much.
Misty.
What?
Chupacabra says, I'm thinking of changing my name to Pessimisty.
That's funny. I love that.
I love it too.
So I will be in the future. So I will poll for what we want for the next episode. I'll pick the options, but you guys will ultimately pick it. And not that you guys don't usually like picking things, I think, because usually no one votes for anything, which is fine, totally fine.
Totally
But
fine.
You don't have
Well,
to
this
be
poll,
like,
this poll, since it's going to include,
that'll
that'll
go
go
in
in
a
a
regular
different voting.
pollings.
It'll go in the general chat, so the general polling instead of the mortuary. There's a polls in general chat, and there's one that's in the mortuary for our patrons. So regular patron movie nights, that'll be in the mortuary, but Misty night you're doing in general.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if we get enough of a following, we might change it. But at this point in time, I'll see that happening for a while. And if just one person shows up, and even no one shows up, I'll probably just watch it by myself and have it open
with
in case
me,
someone comes.
because I'm going to show up.
Oh yay! So I will be showing the Jonah
I'm just
episodes.
excited. I don't have to do anything.
Nice. I'm gonna have to create a dummy account so I have a mic.
I'm just gonna participate.
But so the thing about it is that we will show probably the first one. I'm just gonna not even do a poll. We're doing Cry Wilderness or Mac and Me when Crystal's more around because she'll have to fucking watch it. She'll love it. The Mac and Me episode or Cry Wilderness. But when it comes to okay, so the Misties are gonna know what I'm talking about. When it comes to what's been shown in the Gizmoplex, so basically Mystery Science Theater had to deal with Netflix, and then Netflix does what it does, and it just like lets go shows that aren't their own because they suck. And so what the creators thought, that the creators of the recent show thought, like, let's just create our own streaming platform. And they have, and it's called the Gizmoplex. Since they have a certain subscription form and a certain audience, and they really need that audience, I won't be showing any of those episodes. They really need the support, and I'm not going to show those episodes for free. But between, as us Misty knows, between Joel, Mike, and Jonah, we're going to be fine. We've got so many episodes to go on, and and hey, no fighting over whether Joel or Mike is better. You can discuss it, but no fighting. I will have. No, you laughed, Justine, but it was a big thing of contention on the internet in the early days.
Oh, I'm just there's a little
You're like,
troll
I don't
inside
even
me that's
know.
so excited to press that button. So
I think you'll like them both. I don't think you'll think either one. Maybe you'll think Mike is hot. Hey, guys, let's guess which one Justine is gonna think is hot. I think she's gonna think Mike is hot.
That's so fun.
I don't think either of them are
Cool,
really
whichever
free,
one,
but
like,
if you
oh,
had to-
he's hot the first time.
and we'll both be like, yes, we knew it. I actually think there's two of them you'd like. I don't think you did.
Man.
I think
don't
one
have
of them
time,
is more.
so good luck. Like,
There's one I had a big crush on growing up,
One
and
looks like
and
Michael
it's not
Sheen.
that one I'm voting for. It's the one that's the one I'm not voting for you thinking is hot because I have a certain taste. Uh Whichever looks like Michael Sheen.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get off, you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Optimisty agrees with me. Optimisty, I think we're 100% right on that one.
You think I'm gonna like Eddie Nelson? I'm not
Okay.
even gonna look him
Okay,
up.
okay,
I'm
okay.
not even gonna look him up. I'm gonna wait
Don't
until
because
Optimisty Night, and then I will see them and make my choice
I love how
in
you said
real time.
Optimisty Night because you're so not clued into what it is. You just said Optimisty Night. I love it.
Did I
I'm
say
so
Optimisty Night? I thought I just
you
said
did.
Misty Night. I thought I said our
Maybe you
Misty Night.
You might have, and
I don't know.
I read it as Optimistic Night. But Eddie Nelson is a one episode character, and it's one of my favorites. It's the best. It reminds me of my own family, but we'll get into that. He's in a episode called Time Chasers, which might be our second one, depending on
You
what
also heard
the
Optimisty
others.
Night. Well, maybe I did. I don't
But
know.
yeah, we should get going. We really appreciate you guys showing up. So Crystal might be busy for a while, but we're not going to do an official episode without her. I
Yeah,
mean,
but we might do more AMAs or like trivia.
and
Again.
if it's been a long time, we might invite a guest for trivia and that kind of stuff. And we do have a lot of episodes, as especially you regulars know, that are coming up. Our Animal Attacks is next, Serial Killers, then it's our Pick 3, and then we do have others, but I can't remember anything because my brain is mush. I know musicals is up there, but it's not the next one. What have we talked about? Ooh.
The calendar.
But it's great. I'm really excited to do Misty Nights. The class I needed isn't available in the summer, and the last class which I have a final for tomorrow, I has killed my soul a little bit. So I kind of need the summer off, and I'm letting myself do it. So I'll be able to work and save more money, and also have some more fun and spend more time with my dogs. So.
Animal Attacks, Serial Killers, Pick 3. And then it's musicals.
Okay.
We're almost caught up.
So that's cool. So we'll talk a little. Can we talk a little bit after this, Justine?
Yeah.
All right.
Tote
so
my goats.
Tote my goats. Mares eat oats and dozy dotes and little lambs eat ivy. From Twin Peaks. I will do when you do. Oh my god, he's so great in that. I love Rewind.
I love how quick you went from Totes My Goats to that.
Mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. Totally little zoo, wouldn't you? We gotta do a Twin Peaks episode. I know Crystal hasn't seen any of it, so we'll have to do that.
Enjoy it though. It might be.
I think we'll have to do it way in advance, because she'll need the time to watch it. But still, it'd be a great episode to do. But anyway,
that was
we're gonna say goodnight, and thank you guys for showing up. We really appreciate it. We might do a live next week. We're gonna feel it, but if not next week, then the next. And we might just do a casual catch up and chat, or might do a trivia thing.
Join the Discord to know more. We'll make announcements on like Instagram and stuff, so make sure you guys follow us there. Love you guys. Thank you to our Heads of Lettuce for.
We love our Heads of Lettuce, and so does Crystal. We're not kidding. She made a specific point for us to tell our Heads of Lettuce that she misses you guys very much, and she'll be back soon as she can.
We'll see her in Discord too. You guys can always just ping her, annoy the crap out of her. In fact, everybody go to Discord right now and tag Crystal and tell her you love her.
And the ghost children. Ghost.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I gotta